formation is looking like. He's just trying to hide out. No builds in sight. Big fight breaking out right there. Just gets a little tag there, Mini. Nothing too big. Meanwhile, Demis and Dorm finally finding their groove.
Yeah, they're getting a first knock right there as well. That's nice for them. Looking to try and play this sort of second height layer. The difficulty for them is that height do have that explosive exotic in Khan right here. You can see it's so good at just holding down the teams in the second height. This difficulty for these guys right now, though, is they've only got wood. They need to try and make this high ground play count. 200s, 170, it's dwindling, and Zone keeps pulling, so that's a disastrous pull for those guys as well.
Stream Elements says,
solo, just trying to make his
Stream
way
Elements bot running, learn how to customize the bot here. Link. Stream Elements says, Stream Elements bot running, learn how to customize the bot here.
Again, these guys have been so effective in these end games, particularly in the group stage as well, so I'm expecting big things from them again today. They just need to turn it into wins here.
Yeah, look at that. Panzer finally falling, even with that hero's effort to push it far. He didn't earn much placement points there. Sky and Skrull still in the end game here. Already getting Mixie down low. There's the full finish. Loses his teammate in the process. It's Khaled who's underneath him. He's going to have to do that quick layer change, but there's that RPG we talked about coming into play, forcing the blender down low. Darm, though, knows how to handle this. Finds two Elans, loses Demis in the process, but there they go. They get to reconnect here.
That's what this team is so good at. They're so good at just getting back together when things are tough. And look at this for Skrull. 10 HP, can't make the edit. Tries to get out, tries to weave his way through. Doesn't even have a chance to pop any minis. Has no materials here as well. Only 6 builds in the metal. Trying to use all those old builds, but no. Goes down in 10th place.
Hey, that's still a top 10, though. Not too bad. As he pushes it further, it's Demis, who, of course, gets to reap the rewards here down low. There's the heals coming out from the Flowberry Fizz. I love this. While he's kind of handling the rotation, Darm's healing him in the process. That teamwork looking good. Meanwhile, Salvatore up top with Yasin looking strong as well as the pressure comes down from the top. How far can Bugha push? The Storm ends up getting him. Braids, though, playing for the placement points here. Just going for the med kit. Trying to go the distance, but he's already out.
All about where this next zone pulls. Yeah, builds back towards the east, so it's going to go back over a lot of those builds. Dimash and Dom trying to hold down these low ground layers. Nice little shot there onto another player from Dimash. They don't have loads of builds right now, so this pullback is going to be music to their ears. Braids still alive here as well, actually making his way into the zone after a heal off. No builds on him, though, so really needs to try and make this big shot count. Nice shot right there, not able to take down Mofu. Only 10 HP as well. Siphon is going to be super crucial here.
Yeah, the difference there, if he would have gotten that hit there, he would have for sure picked up the elimination. But look at this, the pressure down top with the drum gun here is definitely being felt from the teams down low. Virgo still in this game as well. No more Shadow, though. He's already inside the top 5, also clutching up. That's a huge shot up to Darm. Perfect spot to be in, but Darm was so fast. They're at 6 eliminations now and counting 2 shots from Demis and Darm there, but not without its own exchanges. Tomac goes down. Can they get Mofu here? The side edit. It's going to come down to the Siphon to keep him in the game, and Darm is still here. It's a 2v1 as Salvatore and Yasin are looking to push through. Darm takes the high ground, crashes down on Yasin, and he can still maybe clutch this, but it's going to be tough. In the end, it's Salvatore.
Salvatore and Yasin had such a good group's performance. We're unlucky here to make it into the survival stage, but already here in game number 1, proving that they deserve to be in the top 6. A really nicely played endgame as well. The way they took height was really solid. That mythic drum gun, so crucial in the way that they were able to hold that down. And you can see by their reaction, they know it's just game 1 of 10. There's still plenty more time. And they probably know it a lot better than some of the other players. It's like one game doesn't necessarily matter that much.
Yeah, but Demis and Darm also made that end game. You saw smiles on their faces.
Yep.
Here's Virgo, here's Phoenix and Retro, one of the second team to fall in that lobby. Unfortunately, not looking too happy with the way that one ended up playing out. Can't blame them either. That's the thing about reload. It's kind of tricky. It's like you fool yourself into thinking, oh, we're in endgame. But of course you are. That's where things start really getting interesting. And you're there and you have eliminations, but it's those placement points, they really make the difference.
Well, you can go down in endgame and still get no placement points. It's absolutely crazy. Take a look at some highlights right here as well. Unfortunately, Dimash going down right there. I did fancy Darm and Dimash in this fight, particularly on low ground, if they were able to survive as a duo. But Salvatore and Yasin were holding down that position really nice. Remember, Karnan faded with a team that were on height earlier on. They looked like they were going to be able to hold on to it for so long, but then, of course, the materials dwindled, and Salvatore and Yasin took it for themselves. And it's the perfect opportunity for them. We don't have the teams that are typically playing height. We don't have those Peterbot Poyers. We don't have those Shark and Teenies in the lobby. If you're going to play height, if you're going to take a risk, this is the lobby to do it in. And for
Boy
them,
Music says,
they needed to make it happen.
GG.
The Sky and Scroll, not a particularly good game either. Not an absolute disaster, but something to build on, despite all the expectations on their shoulders.
Top 10 for Sky and Scroll, I think, is an okay start.
It's fine,
it's a lot better than, you know, kind of how they started off yesterday, where it was just a singular place, you know, player trying to push this, of course, the points along. We're jumping through, kind of absorbing and living in the moment here. Tomat and Mofu, big win there to kind of keep themselves in the running, almost getting knocked out of their group stage. We're kind of floating around. I like how we get the boos and the cheers, depending on, of course, what org is on the screen. But hey, y'all, just give us a little moment. We're going to go ahead and throw off to the side here. When we get back, we'll have some more action in game number 2.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
A lot of people are haunted by their past. I'm inspired by it.
They're not just playing for themselves, they're really playing for their entire family.
They have defeated their demons! They have crushed the curse!
Presse. C'est solo lui. On tac. En retard, mais ils vont récupérer, je pense. Ouais. Presse, ouais. Ah, viens. On touche. 56. Ouais, ça monte, je décale sur le côté. Box. Tête, non. D'accord. Chill. Il va prendre. Nice! Double! Go! That it twerk. Nice, really. Crazy boy. It's a whole different guy. Do you like blue and everything? Monte. Bah 50 de mat. 20 de match, il y en a. Ouais. Je récupère, je crache pas d'ail. Fais pas d'ail, j'ai pas le 6 de mat, t'es monté? Monte, je suis là. Il drop. Et Vincent, je suis avec toi? Avec. Viens, je suis 2v2. Vas-y. 2v2. 25. C'est clos. Let's go!
Come on, I got 2 builds.
Fizz.
I have 5 fizz.
together.
Drop the
I have 0 builds.
I have 2. We have to run right. I got crash pads.
I'm gonna come back up. I'm coming back up to you.
Okay, come up. If I have crash pads, we can easily. In my box. I'm good.
Yeah. Check.
Are you good? Where are you at?
Yeah. I'm like on your layer.
Okay, I have 200 metal. Listen, we can fizz crash pad up.
Just go. I'm gonna grapple up. Just normal crash pad up.
I will.
Do a solo crash.
Can you fizz?
Okay, you think we need? Okay.
Yes.
I'll just come with you.
Crash padding, going.
I'm gonna go on height then, if I can.
Tick. Ja, hop on. Nice! Man, come no, bro.
Love being able to hear some of the comms there from the players from yesterday, Group B, but now it's all about that survival stage. And Salva and Yasin Kelly being able to start off with the victory royale.
Listen, at the end of yesterday, we really saw them starting to pick things up, and I was wondering, were they going to be able to continue that into today? And it looks like they were able to do that really well. I love that they got that off in the first game, but Vivid, they have to do this now 9 more times to be able to make it into the finals tomorrow.
Going to be super tough for them. That being said, we were actually taking a look at some of the highlights there from just the groups that were kind of played, and we kind of saw it, right? Salve, kind of typical up on the high ground, very familiar with that type of position. I was actually talking with Jacob on our way over here today, and he was like, you know, one of the teams that I did like, it was Salve. Salve was very common in finding some of the early game eliminations, Levin, and listen, with a game 1 win like that, it might get into that top 6.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, like you said, Kelly, start to pick things up towards the end. I'm not gonna lie, we've been here a couple of days now. Game 1, people do things in game 1. It happens, right? Of course, big them up, right? You want to give them their props. They deserve it because it was an impressive win, but you can't get ahead of yourselves, and they should know that better than anybody. There's still so much Fortnite to be played.
Well, listen, if we're talking about picking things up, though, Vivid, then we have to talk about Darm and Deemish as well. Really rough start for them yesterday, and then, of course, we don't see the leaderboard just yet. Maybe I don't want to spoil things, but they're looking pretty good in our leaderboard right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. Obviously, Kelly's kind of alluding to it right now. They didn't win the game. They got second place. But how many eliminations they were able to pick up, they are going to be sitting in first place. Now, I got to actually go ahead and pause this conversation entirely. Let's go ahead and take a look at the regional representation up here towards the top of the leaderboard. I mean, we got EU up there, Dharma Damage. We got Yassine and Salve representing the Middle Eastern region, Tomat and Mofo. And then you got Yuma and Coyota representing Asia. Ghana and Knight from Brazil. And then Shadow and Virgo sneaking in for NAC as well. So game number 1. Regional diversity towards the top of the leaderboard. This is exciting.
A lot of diversity there for now. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because it ended up happening yesterday. We saw a team perform really well yesterday in the first game, and if I'm not mistaken, it was one of the teams that actually ended up getting their keys crushed at the end. So we were going to be looking for that consistency after this match.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's obviously going to be good signs there, but one, still so much more to be played. Like I said, here on Elite Stronghold, there's going to be a bunch, that changes throughout these games as people sort of develop as far as Uncom versus contested. Obviously, then we switch to Slurp Rush, and things get crazy over there, right? And so I think if you're one of these teams, you're just trying to find your footing, right? Find your footing, get some momentum, and just keep things rolling.
And I think that's where our bigger regions do end up coming out on top, is that their footing, they find stable footing a lot easier than our smaller regions. And so although it seems like almost even at FNCS's, it starts off with a lot of these smaller regions having good pop-off games, good eliminations, but then as things start to develop and the tournament continues on, that's when our bigger regions and our bigger teams do end up just kind of outplacing our smaller regions time and time again.
David, earlier we got a chance to see during the pre-show a chat with AGL, with Sky and Scroll, and they were saying they were wanting to be more aggressive after this game. They only end up getting just 2 eliminations, and they're currently sitting in 13th place.
Yeah, I mean, for Sky and Scroll, I did want to go ahead and hit home on that as well. Definitely not the game that they were probably looking for. And this is where it's going to start to matter, Levin, because you were kind of talking about it. The reason why they were probably feeling good about their performance yesterday is because, yeah, they didn't get like dead last. They weren't towards the bottom of the leaderboard. They performed pretty well. Then game number 1 of when it was a knockout stage and you don't do too good, then I feel like those thoughts have to start to enter their minds.
Yeah, I think they have to become more aggressive, not just, from a pure, let's run it around and get some eliminations, just from like a win condition standpoint, right? We know how the zones on this map can be with all the different elevation. You have to be more proactive about, we get some even zones and like, okay, how are we actually going to win the game, right? Forget just trying to stay in the game as long as possible. What's the play that wins us this lobby?
And I'm really hoping they don't wait until Slurp Rush to kind of come out with that plan. That's what we saw yesterday, where they kind of struggled in Elite Stronghold. Hopefully they knew that kind of was their weak point, because Slurp Rush is when we actually started to see them step things up, the Sky and Scroll that we knew, but they just weren't able to climb up fast enough. So again, I don't want them to wait till Slurp Rush to be able to pull something out.
Something that I want to make sure that we all keep an eye on as well is how these lobbies are kind of playing out. If you remember, Group A, high ground pretty much seemed uncontested. If you went up for it, it looked like everybody kind of just gave it to you. I saw something very, very familiar that game, so keep a close eye on how some of these end games are playing and what the win condition might be.
Just brought me flashbacks of Group A, especially because during Group A, it was nothing but Aurora just with the high ground, and then decided to just switch it, and he ended up being the Falcons duos too, taking over the high ground. We'll see if that's going to be the case here for this group, which is none other than Survival Stage. Now, when we're talking about AGL, we're talking about them being more aggressive, right, Levin? Where would you set the mark for them in regards to eliminations that you would be happy with their performance?
For me,
or this next game, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, one, there's never going to be an exact number. The one thing I do want to see along those lines, I do want to see them get like a big game, like a big double-digit elim game. Not just because I think that's sustainable and they're going to keep doing that, but I think it just is a sign of intent, right? About how they feel they stack up against this lobby. Like, nah, you lot are scrubs to us, man. We can do this. And I think they have that ability, even if it isn't their typical bag. They like to play a bit slower pace, more efficient. I think they can do that in one of these games.
And in these kind of tournaments, with how valuable eliminations are, you have to. We saw their placements in the games, and they just, or I'm sorry, day 2, and they just did not have any eliminations. Even in the games that they performed kind of well in, they would only grab, 3 or 4 eliminations. It just wasn't enough, but you can only ask to get so many eliminations when clearly their main plan isn't working out. To go on the aggressive, either that's early game where maybe they send one player out to where they know that there's a highly contested spot, maybe they can grab some eliminations there, but that obviously adds a big risk, because as soon as you see that one of them is alone, that means that the other is as well.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be able to adjust to whatever the lobby ends up giving them. I know they were coming in confident, they were wanting to be aggressive. I want to see that aggression. By the way, for everybody that's been tuning into EWC and just watching Fortnite Reload Championship at EWC 26, if you're not familiar with everything that's going on with the totem, with the keys and all that stuff, don't worry. Barney and Glitter got you covered.
As we commence the survival stage at the Fortnite Reload Championship, we thought that we would set the stakes. 14 teams will have their keys crushed by the end of the day, but what does that truly mean? We're going to talk about the keys, the totem, and of course, the crusher. First off, let's talk about the keys. If you qualify for the Esports World Cup, your team is given a key. That is essentially your lifeblood at the Esports World Cup, and that is what our teams are coveting this entire time.
And where do those keys end up? Well, of course, they end up in the totem. For those whose keys are crushed, they live in the graveyard. However, for those whose teams find success, the keyframe is then removed from their key and placed in the totem to immortalize them in the history books of the Esports World Cup. And with $30 million on the line, every win in every title is vital for these clubs.
That is a lot of money, but the fun part is when our players get to crush the keys.
That's right, Barney, because here at the Qiddiya City Grid, we have the most menacing key crusher on the block.
That is true. This brings us to the drama of our competition because our keys literally balance on the precipice of success and total annihilation.
It's a unique twist here at EWC for us, unlike any other competition.
That is very true. So remember, only 6 of these keys will leave today unscathed and join into the finals. So stick around to see it in action. And with that being said, casters, over to you for map number 2.
That's one of the best things, one of the best feelings for the person pressing that button, but not if your name's on that chop-in block. We've seen they're also uniquely engraved, so it really is a personal touch.
Yeah, it is, but today, 14 of those keys are going to be crushed. It's brutal, it's horrible.
Feed the beast, feed the beast.
I know, it's crazy. 6 of them have been crushed so far, of course, across Group A and B. 6 of those keys will remain intact ahead of tomorrow's grand finals. Of course, which of those keys, which of those teams is that going to be? And so far, for a team like Izzy and Nosif, they'll be wanting to be in that top 6. They'll be hoping that their team and their key is going to be finding themselves in the finals tomorrow.
Yeah, surely. I mean, you see the lobby already starting to take shape here. With our top 6 currently, we have a nice little spread of international coverage. We talked about it. I think everyone more or less expecting. We're performing up to expectations, minus Sky and Scroll for AG8L. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on their story, on their drop in particular here throughout the evening to see how exactly they have managed to adjust their play. Game 2 is now here. Match 2 is loading up. The Esports World Cup is just heating up. Here's that hot drop that we expected. Goodness. This is more players than we have seen in any other stage, setting, or game in a singular drop.
There's half the lobby. Who isn't here at this point? This is unbelievable. I mean, obviously, a lot of the solos are going to be landing at their regular drop spot. Retro down, Spooks down, Yapko alive. Just thinning out this entire little drop spot right here. Lots of those teams will just be solo dropping there and then trying to get over towards their teammate again. I think that just sort of shows how those first game nerves, those first game jitters just sort of are out of the way, especially for a team like Yapko and Panzer. 4 limbs already onto Yapko. Can he make it 5? The answer's no.
So Mat and Mofu end up coming out as the last man standing here. I was glancing around, making sure that was accurate. He is the only one left outside the hostile hold there. Well played for him. Not bad either. 2 Elans there to go and continue to pad his lead. He's in 3rd place. So look with Sky and Scroll up against Jojo Fishy. Aoxy. It's a 2v1, but still Scroll giving Aoxy a run for his money for a second there, but they're there. There's the little dance from Aoxy's side. Jojo Fishy's as cold as ever. That's 3 Elans for the first ever LAN participants for Jojo and Aoxy Fishy. Again, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. I'm proud that they've made it this far, but this is just a sample of what it's going to take if you want to be an elite performer.
Well, even yesterday when they won that last game to claw their way out of the bottom 3, there wasn't much emotion. I think they have higher expectations of themselves than that. They'll be expecting to find themselves in that top 6. Again, another team that are, Sky and Scroll, already taken down a couple of times right here. Nosif and Izzy are the latest culprits of that. And big cheer, of course, again, when they come on the screen. They'll be hoping for a bigger cheer towards the end of this game, though. And they're a team that can do it. I spoke about it earlier. They have these clutch moments. Seems like they can always do it in the moments where it matters most. And I'd say 90% of the crowd here want to see that.
Yeah, most definitely. Jumping over with Goofy and Zudo. They actually take down Yuma there. Coyote still up. You can see it in the distance. Sky just kind of keeping an eye out on this same exact drop. They hear players nearby, sort of camping the loot that's available here in the machine there below. Goofy and Z-Dog are on the hunt. Meanwhile, Braids and Booga, terrible spot to be in when you have a full duo fighting you guys head-to-head like this. This can be a full elimination and likely even send them out of the game. Booga's gonna lose his ones. Braids has to stay alive now. The clock is ticking. Faded, although super healthy, still hasn't quite managed to finish the deal here.
Braids staying alive for now. Is Booga gonna be able to get back in? Wow. He is. Just about stayed alive long enough. Braids taken out by Khan and Faded. Remember, they had a really good start to that end game, looking really strong, and then it all kind of fell apart as those zones didn't pull in their favor. So they'll be hoping for a little bit more luck in this game, but showing the confidence early on, going for height. Of course, the mythic helps, or the exotic helps. Tomat in a bit of a battle here against Yapko. And again, Tomat Mofu, a team that also clawed their way out of that bottom three earlier on in the week. It's a big day for them as well. They don't want to just stay in the competition for the survival stage. They want to make it to tomorrow as well.
This is tough. Booga opting to hide while he sends Braids away here, but Khan and Faded are on his heels. And they get that elimination, and you saw Booga there only had an AR, opting to send Braids with everything, hopefully in efforts to go ahead and get things situated there inside the storm, but nothing just yet. Sky Scroll on the other side, looking much better. Again, they were also eliminated. You can see the loadout, not exactly the best, but plenty of time here in the game as, of course, these drops and chests continue to load back in.
Look at this though, Salvatore, after such a strong game one, only down to about 1 HP right now, going into the storm, dipping in, dipping out as well. Shadow and Virgo are not going to let him get away anytime soon. Nice angles, nice piece, nice control. A nice elim from Shadow and Virgo. A little bit of a cheer as well here from the M8 fans in the arena. And Phoenix and Retro, this is the team that in Heat 1, or in Group 1, Group A, they came out of the gates really strong. They got that, I think it was Game 2, Game 3 victory royale. They were looking strong and then ended up finding themselves here.
Sorry, Jacob had a lot to say about this NOS duo being able to start performing and kind of have their moment, but it's hard to keep that pace up. Like we said, once all, the other teams start to warm up and the jitters kind of go out the,
Daniel Martinez 777 says.
Saw that particularly even yesterday.
Daniel Martinez 777 says.
So slow, and then towards the end, finally caught their groove. Same thing with Sky and Scroll. Yeah. Extremely slow and picked up towards the end. Gotta be fast, gotta play smart. Jacko Panzer, again, a lot to live up for, as yesterday was such a letdown for them on their overall performance. Saw Jacko and Panzer, we were coming through the metal detectors to kick off the day. They looked at us right in the eye and said, no, we're ready for today.
Yeah,
adjusting things.
It was weird, wasn't it? Because they didn't start the day very well. They had a really good middle, and you thought, that's fine. We're back to normal here for Yapko Panzer. We're back to the level that we expect from them. And then the end of the day, they went missing. It's like
Boy Music says.
They need to try and turn those middle games like we
Boy
saw
Music
yesterday
says.
into
Doing fine.
Stretch it out into the entire rest of the day.
Big team being eliminated here. Toma and Mofu in third place. Already taken down. They had 60 points earned. And now they're the first duo to fall. That's a big problem, especially, again, when you have your opportunity, right? They're kind of coming in with the momentum where they left off.
I was expecting more from Sky and Scroll in that last game. I mean, obviously placement-wise, but they came into the day saying they want to get a lot more aggressive. They want to take the lobby on. They want to try and show why they're one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team in the world right now. And they got 2 elims, and it came later on in the game. I was quite surprised that they weren't as happy to fight earlier on. I think this game's kind of, they flipped it a little bit, but I expected them to really go properly aggressive like we've seen from some of our other teams, because they're capable. I think they need to sort of remind themselves that. Maybe it is that sort of first game. They want to have a decent start and give themselves a bit of a sort of launch pad to kick off the rest of the day with. But this is the sort of gameplay we want to see from them, getting really confident off-spawn fights, because they are a better fighting duo than pretty much everyone else in the lobby, or maybe just definitely everyone else, really.
Yeah, and you know what? You can take the risk. You can take so much more risk in this type of format. And I think they're trying to find how far they can really push it. How much risk can they actually apply here on the lobby? VSN, Salvatore, and Yasin already on the move there. You can see them kind of leading the way, going for the large dead side rotate around the outskirts. Meanwhile, Gon and Knight already have found themselves at the hostile hold, trying to hold teams from the outside from entering in freely. There's a good amount of the lobby still outside in the storm here. They've got to get moving, though. Mammoth pistol in hand. You know, it's a surprising how many teams are not using the Mammoth pistol, where Peterbot and Boya, for example, are running it every single game. So there really is a preference in the playstyles here, and the way teams kind of build their dynamic for reload.
Yeah, and a lot of times the teams will be using them without a spray weapon as well. You have Mammoth pistol, shotgun, that'll be the loadout. And to be able to play that style of gameplay, you have to be really confident in those shotgun hits. You have to be really confident in those box fights. You have to be really confident at playing height as well, and being able to hit those shots and make that inventory slot being taken up by the Mammoth actually worth it. So, you know, when your name's Peterbot, of course it's worth it, right? But for some of our other teams, maybe that isn't the case. That's why we see Spooks right here with that combat SMG instead. And big day for Oatly and Spooks as well. I think, you know, they really came out of the gates really strongly in their first LAN performance, and they have a lot to answer for here today as well. They've got now expectations of doing good on their shoulders, and maybe sometimes, I suppose, if you go into a LAN without any expectations, it can definitely help.
Yeah, I think win or lose, you know, they surprised everyone with how well of a performance they had just yesterday, to be honest. But of course, this is what's going to define whether or not you can move on to the finals here. Coyote's going to find Panzer. All right, this becomes a time and place where you start falling here will be major setbacks, given that the reboots are going to be shutting off here shortly. Again, just 3 elims here for Sky and Scroll, the fastest start that they've had, I think, throughout the entirety of all of their games, even yesterday's included.
Yeah.
So definitely off to the proper start, but it's now doing the part that they did really great yesterday.
Well, that's the thing. This is back to normal for them now, right? This is what they're used to. They're getting themselves in a nice position. They can play the end game like they know how to do. It's getting to this position in a solid state in terms of loadout, in terms of limbs, in terms of positioning. It's been what they haven't been as confident at. So for now, this is just normal Battle Royale. Of course, once those reboots do end, it's just going to be normal Battle Royale. And this is where you'd expect them to thrive. So you can definitely see them set up for success right here as we get a look at the map. Very north pulling zone. And I'm going to call it right here. Sky Scroll win this game.
Oh, early predictions coming out of Mini Minor right now. Might know something we don't just yet. Spooks, Oatly, kind of made their way in, migrated through, putting pressure here on other teams just to stay active, stay warm. Yuma, Coyote, one of the options there in the distance. Nosif already rotating around the outskirts. But all these cliff faces here, giving them a bit of a hard time to actually find kind of lineups here. You have an idea that there's a team there, but again, don't really quite have all the information they need. And here it is, you fall now. If you're one of the ones under gunfire here, that's it. Reboots are officially being disabled. Aoxy's going to be one of the ones to get knocked there initially. Rue as well. There's the finish for Rue. There's the finish for Aoxy, and now he's completely eliminated here. So a decent start to game one, but their story comes to an end for Sky and Scroll. Front side of zone, already looking to go for high ground potentially here.
Thank you for the follow, DS Gaming. Botrix says, thank you for the follow, DS
that win came
Gaming.
From high when they played it early, so maybe they'll be looking at it. It's not their typical way of playing, but maybe we'll see them go for it again. Like I said earlier, there's not that height dominant team in the lobby. You don't have those powerhouses that have already, of course, qualified through. So if any time to take it, it is probably now. Goofy Z-Dog Another team that played really well in the groups, unfortunately find themselves here, and unfortunately in this game, find themselves down and out. Dam and Dimash in a nice position right now. They're going to use that Fizz. They're going to use the launch pad as well to send them really high in the sky and get towards that dead side of zone. Yuma and Koyota find themselves in a tough position here as well on that left side of the screen. They're going to get looked at by so many others, but maybe the saving grace for them is going to be this launch pad. They're going to see right ahead of them players like Salvatore, Yassin, players like Dimash and Dam have made it in, and there they are, Yuma and Koyota, taking a high ground position.
That was extremely lucky, by the way, because they were getting targeted when Z-Dog and Goofy fell, and little did they know, they were so lit up. Yeah. But being able to bounce back, take a little bit of high ground here off the launch pad, I mean, they might turn this entire game around here. Surely the extra points are going to be welcomed as well. Top 16 now, Salvatore, Yassin have to make a move. Demis and Garm here on the outskirts, try to go for the wide rotate, but get spotted out, so this is not going to be safe by any means. Up in back they go. Saying, they know we're there. Let's just go right through the middle instead.
Dimash way to the backside of zone. Failed shockwave, failed overdrive there for Dimash, and again, twice in a row. That's unfortunate. That's where I made their way in now on the dead side of zone. Sky and Scroll all the way towards the front side as well. Lots of investment here into these overdrives, not only just because of the couple of failed ones earlier, but also now having to get them both towards that front side. Max pull for them. Booga and Braids, I've said it all week, they've put themselves in good positions. They haven't been able to close out wins, which remember is what you need to do when it comes to tomorrow's Grands. So again, they're in a decent position. They're playing these mid-ground layers really nicely. And naturally, when your name's Booga, there's always expectation on your shoulders.
Yeah, we were talking about how Knight and Golden actually had several victory royales. That is going to be a part of the formula if you want to win this tournament here today. Just in general over the weekend, Virgo and Shadow looking good. Oatly and Spooks take high ground from Yuma and Koyota. So now, here's their chance to kind of make a return on the standings. Meanwhile, back down to low ground. Gentleman's Virgo on the move. He's got sight lines. Had he landed that shot, that could have been a game changer for the Jogo boys on height. But nothing just yet. There's the material drop for Shadow. Shadow's got to take the lead here as the IGL, the duo. Meanwhile, Booga, Braids, front side of zone as well. Another moment and another opportunity to kind of prove themselves. Yuma's going to fall to the hands of Retro, though, during the chaos and the rotate there. It's not even looking good for Yassin either. Voko cringed down and out. High ground still under full control for Oatly and Spooks.
Oatly looking to prove why people call him Goatly in this position right now. They need to try and find a win. They need to try and make the most of this high ground position. Izzy and Nosif on the complete other side of things down on low. The French fans right here, they're getting active. They're getting excited about the potential for a great game here from Izzy and Nosif. God and Knight find one in the backside of zone as well. That's going to be a crucial refresh for those guys as they were running a little bit low on materials as well. You see Knight investing all of those, getting towards that front side. But oh no, Oatly and Spooks are getting contested. It's Edson, it's PH Sin. Wow, what a shot from Oatly. That shuts down one. PH Sin down as well. That's to the hands of Spooks. And not only are they on height, but they're holding onto it very well.
Well, there you have it. 5 eliminations as well. Things are really starting to add up here, and this is the type of game you need. This is the type of run you have to put yourself on, because they started off so unfortunately behind. Virgo, Shadow on the other side, still not quite earning any eliminations, but the points are adding up. Same story can be said here for Booga and Braids, whom have been just working their way through the mid-ground layer. Meanwhile, Con and Faded take the fight onto Oatly as well. They were able to successfully defend against one, but not the second force that came through. Booga finishes up Spooks, and now no one's really in control of high ground other than Con here, who's going to be the last surviving.
No one's on control of low ground either. Booga spots that out, goes straight on down below. That's a really nice position for him, but of course the zone is going to keep pulling over this hill. Not ideal at all. Look at this though, Gon and Knight all the way up on top. They are looking to close out this game with a win. Unfortunately for Booga, he's now down as a solo as Braids gets taken out. Khan and Faded here as well, now looking to try and make their way up as well. They want height again, but Gon says no. Faded, you're gone. Faded shut down. Sky Sky and Scroll, where they do it best, where they operate on top. 4 elims for Sky Scroll. They've got control of the low ground. They've got control of the lobby.
AGAL still in the game right now with a huge performance so far. Points are starting to add up. Don't forget, Night and Bone still have that rocket launcher with a couple of missiles left. Here it is. They wait until the very end to start using these critical missiles. Down they send Darman Demas. I think they recognize that team's gonna go down. There's the focus onto Sky. Oh, and that one cracks through. That's some big damage, but Scroll with the side angle takes down Knight, and that is how you do it. That is how you turn things around.
Sky and Scroll on low ground now take the height. They need to do it for themselves. They need to do it for AGAL. They're in the prime position, 2v1 against Khan, who's trying to heal off as much as possible inside of the storm. But it's not going to matter as Khan hits a huge shot. Scroll is there to defend, and the boys are back. AGAL win game 2.
And the crowd is on their feet right now as the victory just went through. You see the red and white. AGAL fans are proud here. What a win for Sky and Scroll. You know what? It was not looking good. Brazil boys hit that rocket launcher down on the side and catch Sky, but it's Scroll who turns it around.
Well, that's what makes this duo so good, is that they've got the same brain. You can see the coach being really happy right there. I thought it was Scroll's twin brother yesterday. It's not, it's actually their coach. That's what this team do best. They're almost on the same wavelength every single time. Sky got cracked, chunked a lot of damage. Scroll was there to immediately fight back. And for this team, that is exactly what they do best. Playing those low ground layers. I don't want to say I told you so, but early on in that end game, they were looking really strong. And this is the position they always find themselves in.
I'll say it for you. You definitely told me they were going to win that game.
Yeah.
You called it early as well. Take a look at that one more time from their perspective. Sky and Scroll take the victory with 7 eliminations. Not a light game by any means. They're going to be our match winners. And you know what? Now they're in the race. Now they're feeling good.
Yeah, they awoken. I mean, I think in that game, right, we saw them fighting a lot early. You see smiles on the faces of the boys right there. Their family's actually just behind us. They sort of erupted right there as well, as they know better than everyone that these guys are the real deal, you know. They know what they're like off camera. They know what they're like outside of the game as well. We know how good they can be when it comes to actual in-game performances. But they're just good lads as well, you know, and they have that chemistry that's super duper important. And that's helping them through that game right there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with that, guys, take some time here. Grab yourself a big pop, maybe a mini shield. When we get back, we'll have more action.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, champion.
Everyone is playing, you're not yet. EWC Play is your all-in-one platform to compete in fantasy, pick'em, and quests for a grand total of $300,000 in prize pool. Build your dream fantasy team in 5 different games and track your score with live results tables. Predict the winner of every game, every group stage, and every tournament. Complete daily and weekly challenges to earn boosters that help you climb the global leaderboard. Got what it takes? Join EWC Play now.
Player eliminated.
Sorry about that. Just wait 30 seconds until I can come back.
Fine, I'll wait.
Reboot almost available.
All right, I'm almost back. Thanks so much for waiting for me. Whoa, this is so cool. Wait a minute. If you're here, then that means...
Team eliminated.
AGAL fans, you gotta make some noise. Sky and Scroll got a massive victory royale. Jacob, this is huge for those club championship points, right?
No, it's definitely huge. It's not only huge for the club championship, but them themselves. They're the reigning, defending EU major champions, and they came out yesterday flat. Like you left a bottle of soda open overnight. It was flat, but these guys do not make the same mistakes twice.
It's so good. And look, they're just right here. What's up, Sky, Scroll? Good to see you guys. I love seeing them super locked in as well. Man, I love that you said that, though, because we've had, we think back to Summon, we had that kind of crazy performance. We thought, expected them to win, just missed out. But now here at LAN, they have really learned from that mistakes, right? Those little things they really needed to improve on, they have.
Yeah, they definitely have. And like I said, yesterday it was just slow to start. Today, they're just punching right out of the gates. They get a victory royale here in game number 2, putting them towards the top of the leaderboard. And you got to imagine how that feels for the club championship as well.
Oh, man, AGAL's thinking, yes, keep doing that. We need to make sure we need to make it to finals. Another duo, though, Shadow and Virgo just on the way across here. Obviously representing NA, we have to hope for them. I know Vivid absolutely loves them. How are you feeling about them?
I feel confident. I feel so confident for them. Coming into this during the qualifiers, they weren't the most aggressive team. They got here through clean, consistent gameplay. Yesterday, I feel like maybe they were trying to do a little bit too much. Today, I feel like they're locked in, ready to go back to their game plan.
For me, it's always going to be the stand-up moment of Shadow Virgo, and at Summit, they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to go ahead and call our shot. We're going to need a VR right here, right now. They're capable of this kind of high-level play whenever they need to call on it. But remember, Jacob, we need to make top 6, right? We need to make sure we can make it through to tomorrow's finals. Do you think that they can do that top 6 right now under this pressure, under these lights?
Yeah, I think they and everybody else needs to kind of realize one thing. It's 10 games. It's a marathon. It's not a race. If you expect to play perfect, you're going to be kind of headed for disappointment. So you got to be able to roll with the punches, expect things to happen that you might not necessarily plan for, and then kind of go from there. And I think Shadow, Virgo, even Sky and Scroll have been doing that perfectly today.
And how are you feeling about the map rotations, right? We've got Elite Stronghold, we've got Slurp Rush. Some teams seem to operate a lot better on one versus the other. Obviously, right now, we're kind of starting things off. Do you feel like some teams are maybe going to look to pick up in that second half?
Yeah, I honestly think that's a great addition to the reload type format, because you can have teams, like you said, are good on one map. Imagine if your bad map was Elite Stronghold. Now in your mind, you're probably realizing, hey, I just need to keep it in contention of the top side of the leaderboard, so that when you would go to your good map, you can fire off on all cylinders.
Just stay strong, right? That's all it's about. With that being said, we want more games, so let's kick it back up to the casters.
Thank you so much to our boys, Zeke and Jacob, holding down the fort there while we were getting hydrated up top. And also, special shout-outs to Virgo and Shadow. That was one of my favorite pieces to do. The little fun bits, man. That's what this is all about. Let's take a look at the rankings, though, here. Where are we standing as things are wrapping up? Darm and Demis jump up into first place. It's Khan and Faded who are holding down second. Yasin and Salvatore remain consistent, and the numbers go on. But look at the slip down here. Oatly and Spooks, you would think, are having a bad tournament, but hey, that was a great game too for them.
Yeah, great game for them, playing high. Nicely done from those guys. Cringe and Volko unfortunately find themselves in that bottom 3. I spoke to them at the beginning of the day as we were coming on in here, and they said we're definitely winning a game, guarantee, today. So do with that what you will. We're about to get into match number 3 right here. Every single game counts for this qualification into that top 6. Every single game matters for this game.
With Knight and Gone coming in second, that jumps them up to 4th place. Sky and Scroll now, after that Victory Royale, are in 5th. So the standings really are starting to take a crunch towards the top. Then you still have Shadow and Virgo. Had the tournament ended there, that would be your top 6. Well, we're getting right back into the action. It's not over. It's only getting started. The first elimination is going to go to Gone, who gets his first set of points there. And then the second onto another. Aoxy, meanwhile, already has 2 elims as well himself. Another hot start here. That's Khaled who's going to pour there. Nice job for Aoxy. A little snipe elim there, too. Gone's getting active. This is a 3-on-3. Both sides, no shields. This is a fair fight if I've ever seen one. Brazil versus NA. Come on, Aoxy. Can't mess it up now, buddy. Ooh, he couldn't hit the shot that mattered.
I love these like off-spawn skirmishes where there's just like 18 different players here going out head-to-head. It's fantastic.
Virgo.
Really good for points as well as Virgo there finds his first in this complete utter chaos. Gon managed to get 4. So unfortunately for Vazen and Anon, they are the first duo to be eliminated completely from this game as well. Not an ideal start for them.
Saw the smile on his face as well. It was such a strong performance, picking up 4 Ewins. It's a nice way to start it. Jojo Fishy and Aoxy have been double eliminated by Sky and Scroll, just catching Jojo off guard, and then they dance. I think they recognize what just happened in the feed there. GG's for them. And that's just Scroll and Sky's first elim too, you know? They're just mixing it up. First they were dropping in the mix, in the melting pot. That time they said, let's just go to our draw and kind of stay true to our strat.
It's funny because individually they're so good, so you would think, yeah, they could definitely hold down the fort in that melting pot, but can't. Second place for them in the last game. Spooks and Oatly want to make good as well after their unfortunate demise in that last game. They look really good, actually, going on high in that game. They were looking strong. But of course, in this sort of meta, when there's RPGs, you've got shots, you've got launch pads. I saw a Shockwave Hammer earlier as well, the mythic version of that. So you just never know what teams below you have in their arsenal. And makes it very, very difficult to hold into high. Even Booga right here with the mythic in hand. And again, I feel like Booga and Braids are going to qualify today. You know, it shouldn't be a crazy prediction, but the way that they're putting themselves in really good positions in endgame, the way that they're playing these endgames so consistently, they don't look phased by the pressure of this lobby. And again, it shouldn't be a crazy prediction, but with the way that these guys have been playing, they should qualify.
Yeah, Booga's doing just fine so far in the tournament. 75 points total earned. In case you were wondering, that is an accurate count. That puts him in 7th place, still trailing by 21 points behind Virgo and Shadow, whom again have already earned points here. I know in the replay you saw it taken out there in the STC highlight, but Panzer, Japco on the other side, every time we've jumped to them in between the breaks, it is just like watching pain personified. Just they look miserable. It's been tough on them so far as they've really not performed up to their own expectations. Well, Panzer actually spots Night, but Night was quick on the draw there. Doesn't even wait for his own teammate. We'll see how that fight ends up going out. We'll keep an eye on the feed. Salvatore and Yasuno, quick updates. Looking all right.
Looking fine. Yep, good start to the day from them, of course. First game victory royale is going to give them that boost at the beginning of the day. And the analysts were sort of speaking about it after that game. One game cannot be the be-all and end-all. You can't lose the momentum. You can't lose sight of the format of the competition. And I think for them, that's going to be the most important thing. It's not getting too ahead of themselves, not getting too excited, and just maintaining. Having a couple of wins maybe is going to be all you need, and then some decent end games to go alongside it. Same with Gon and Knight. Finding themselves in good positions in endgame, going for crazy plays on height as well. They're taking risks, they're taking control, which is exactly what you need to do in these lobbies.
Furia boys looking well. ORC's Nosif and Izzy looking strong too. Little pop from the crowd here, of course, whenever Izzy and Nosif are on show. Zone kind of coming dead center here. It's going to fare favorably for everyone for the most part. All the other games we've had, everyone's pretty much had their kind of pick of whether or not they wanted to stay deep in the storm. I think this one's going to play a little differently. I'm excited to see something a little more dynamic from the few. Teams already eliminated, though, to keep y'all up to date. Vazen and Anon, Aoxy and Jojo Fishy, the first 2 to fall. It's not very common that teams will fall in these types of formats either. But hey, sometimes you draw the short stick.
Yeah, it's difficult. But again, likewise, you have a good game. That shouldn't get too ahead of yourself. If you have a bad game, you've still got plenty more to go. And a completely new map as well halfway through. So for those guys to continue to keep the vibes high is going to be really important. And I'm really intrigued as to how today is going to play out in general, because remember the last couple of days we've had the bottom 3 getting eliminated, right? Now we've got 14 teams being eliminated. So the latter stage of competition today, what sort of strats people are going to start pulling out, I do not know. Because you could be, I mean, if you're dead last or you're way down there, you might as well go for some crazy plays that we haven't gotten to see yet. Because realistically, previously, making those plays could have found you in that bottom 3 as well. So it is a lot more opportunity for risk today.
Yeah, we're going to have to see kind of performances like what Faded and Colin are doing, where you land and you get those 4 elims and you really set yourself up with some good head starts. And, you know, everyone realistically needs to play with urgency all throughout the tournament. You cannot ease up.
So Sky and Scroll get possibly the worst supply drop you could probably get, right? There's a green loot everywhere. It's terrible. In a good position, though, again. This is the sort of team that you put them in that position after 7th zone, get on low ground like they did in that last game. They're just levels above the rest of the lobby. And they just didn't show that yesterday. We didn't get to see the Sky and Scroll that we were used to. In that last game, it felt like I was watching a traditional Battle Royale game from EU. It just felt normal. It felt like the world was at peace when that was happening. Yesterday was the complete opposite.
Yeah, we heard it from them. They said it themselves. Hey, look, we gave a lot of respect to the lobby. It was a difficult... They said it was a difficult, like, games, difficult lobby. I don't know, you know, again, European, little bit of a language barrier. Not sure if they meant that more so, like, difficult as in we were in our heads and we didn't really play the way we should have. We gave too much respect. Or it was literally hard, harder than we expected, and we just couldn't perform.
Can you imagine Peterbot ever saying that?
Right. You would never hear it
the lobby was really hard. Like, it just...
Well,
they gave him too much respect.
Maybe if he had to translate it into another language, right? That's my point, is like, maybe it just came across that way, but the way it came across, again, in English, not their native language, it was like, hey, the lobby was very hard.
Maybe. I just don't think they gave themselves enough respect and gave everyone else far too much respect. You don't see teams like Peterbot and Poyo, Shark and TD giving the rest of the lobby respect. You saw them keying everyone. You saw them going for anyone and everyone off spawn and then just closing out fights really well.
Yeah, speaking of which, that FN competitive account put up a little interview. It's like, hey, when you hear a team that's better than you, tell us. It's like, no, Peterbot, Poyo,
it was the quietest video I've ever watched.
They rattled off the 3 strongest duos you've ever heard of. Didn't even budge. That's the level of confidence that they bring to the table. But let's get back into survival stage mode here. Panzer already on the move. Again, much more on the line here for Team GK. It's all about club championship points and much and more. T1's Demis and Darm currently leading the competition. If you glance over to the leaderboard there on the right, you can see S8UL Faded up towards the top, and then page 2, Virgo Shadow holding down the bar, which is currently 96 points. So 96 points, Booga Braids below them at 21. I'd say at any given time, if you are about 30 points ahead of your immediate competition, you have some buffer.
Yeah.
So Virgo and Shadow are kind of getting there. They're kind of getting to that point to where they're getting to that breakaway section.
Yeah, and we haven't seen, like, many teams really solidify their spot, whether it was top 7 in the groups or, of course, now top 6 here today. We haven't seen a team that's just making that top 7, that qualification, completely out of reach. So it'll be interesting to see if the difference in the lobby, whether between the top teams and the bottom teams, is as stark today, or if it's like what we've seen previously, where it is really close on that border. Zone pulls back towards that southeast, though. Lots of our teams already find themselves in that position. Going to make things really difficult for those teams. Those like red arrows, those white arrows at the very top, you can see, because they're all set up, positioned, based up on top of a hill. So be interested to see what those sort of rotations are going to look like when they make it in.
Yeah, good. A few of them kind of holding down those super launch pads. The team to the north already flying in pretty quickly here. But there you have it. The zone's already revealed, so Reboot is now officially on a timer. Just a minute left roughly before this closes. Izzy, Nosif, fans in the crowd once again. Nice little pop. Great noise coming through for Nosif and Izzy. Or are they 51 points in 9th place currently? Of holding things down here.
I think the important thing for them is just staying in contention all day. They're not the sort of team that we would expect to win the whole day, but just staying in contention, keeping that crowd on your side, keeping them excited when you appear on screen. I don't know, you can sort of feel the energy. Obviously, the players have those sort of noise-cancelling over-ear headphones, so in theory, they shouldn't be able to hear it, but feel like that energy just radiates. They know that they are the fan favorites here in Paris, so keeping themselves in contention is going to be really important for that.
20 seconds now until Reboot's end, and we still have pretty much a single team inside the zone at the moment. Take a look, a lot of action going down here tonight and going under some pressure right now. Phoenix is the one that's taking the bulk of the fire. It's Oatly and Spooks are going to be the last to rotate in as the zone starts to close, but Phoenix is in a world of trouble here. It's going to cost him everything, but Retro gets in just in time, actually.
Yeah.
So he does spawn in. He's going to have a chance to possibly reunite.
The worst time to go down, though. Literally the worst time to go down. If you're going to get rebooted, you want to do it earlier on. So it'll be interesting to see how Phoenix and Retro can sort of bounce back from this game after a really rocky start right there. We'll sort of see how that ended up going down. Wow, lovely little switch up from Yapko right there. Had that piece control, shotgun into Mammoth pistol. We've seen a lot of the good teams using Mammoth, so they're looking strong yet again.
Just looking for Japko and Panzer's name. They are dead last at the moment. They needed those eliminations there. Let's see if they can continue to do that and earn some points. Jump up and out. Right behind them is Cringe, Voco, Goofy, and Z-Dog. Goofy and Z-Dog had such a strong showing to kick things off, so I'm actually surprised they're so low on the standings at the moment. But again, don't count out any of these teams that have had their moments of greatness.
Yeah.
They know they can do it. There's a rotate coming through. Nice little crash pad. Action here. Breed's going to make the edit. Booga's going to make the toss. PH Jin, Ed already make their move. Booga and Breeds are on the hunt. And then jumping into a Golden at night, like a little update here. 5 eliminations, wow. Make it 6 now. It's on to, again, that Brazilian duo there. Oh, where the guy, when he rolled off, he might even get saved here. Goat's not gonna get his finish, I believe. Oh yeah, he does. Khan actually gets the full finish there.
Nice work from Golden Knight. Keep that confidence going, keep the vibes high. That's gonna be the most important thing for them. Nicely pulled back zone here as well for Booga, who actually stayed on top of that hill. You can see a few of those arrows in the bottom right that decided to go down onto the sort of ground next to the river. They got quite lucky that the zone is going to pull sort of around the hill rather than back up it. So for teams like Ruin Moda, Khan and Faded, the gamble paid off and they can live in relative peace down there whilst things transpire. Oh no!
I saw rockets going in from Khan and Faded. They're getting active. Then it's going to pull back up and over. Oh man, all these teams will have to begin committing to get back out of the crevice here. Meanwhile, Sky and Scroll, pressure coming in from the high ground duos for whatever reason. Coyote and Yuma have sight lines on what's happening here. Demish and Darm, actually they don't have to go up and over. They have that little bit of a pull that allows them to kind of sneak their way on. It's like a battle happening down low, battle happening up top for supremacy here.
Demish and Darm looking to have another good game here. Been playing very well. Braids and Booga likewise. Looking to maintain that higher position. You see Gon and Knight from Furia in a good one as well. Cringe and Volko trying to recover their day so far. Find themselves in second last, 19th on the standings. They're looking to try and take this game by storm and take it by force up here on height. Rockets coming down as well, causing absolute havoc. Trying to forge a path so that they can make their way in, make sure that that second height isn't going to look at them whilst Volko is sort of tarping ahead. Nice sort of fundamentals here from high ground. Demish and Darm clearing out these low ground layers here as well. Virgo is the one that they take out. A little bit higher actually than ultimate low, which is where these guys we know can operate very well. And the zone is just going to be so dangerous here. You can sort of see it's playing on the side of that hill. If it pulls back towards the south or the southwest, that's going to be so dangerous. That's why Shadow here is just trying to elevate as much as possible as a solo as well. Khan taking down Retro right now, only a knock for the time being. But Khan and Fader look to have another good game here as well.
Khan and Fader are playing exceptionally well right now with their rotates here. They get Retro there just to get the finish on the way there. And I was happy we got to touch base with Shadow for a second because Shadow is solo at the moment in 6th place. Booga and Braids are still alive on their heels here in this game. And remember, there's a 30-point difference between them. So jumping up and over them is going to take quite some effort. Same can be said for Sky and Scroll, who are also at just 108 points. But it's a fight for high ground. No Sif, Izzy go up to the top as Panzer and Japko from GK get eliminated.
The French boys rise, the French fans rise as well, as Sky and Scroll on the complete other end of things look to try and take control of this lower ground section as they did in that last game. Izzy and Nosif, the chants are coming out from the crowd. They're feeling good, they're feeling confident. They think this is their time. And Izzy and Nosif positioning themselves way up above the rest of the lobby, hopefully for them breaking into that top 6 as well. Could this be their moment?
Oh, look at this though. Knight's gonna fall, goes by himself. Braids also solo playing this one out as Darm gets Booga there with a big elimination. This is Braids' opportunity. Can he earn 15 more points and jump into the top 6? That's 3. 12 more left to go. Demis, Darm, 5 elims now. Braids gets Yoda. Can he get the finish? He sure does. The Siphon is keeping him alive here. He makes it. Team in front of him. I think that was gone there. That's a solo, little does he know. But he's completely out of match. Meanwhile, down low, Sky already out. Scrolls by himself. Scrolls just widening the gap here by clutching up by himself. Braids doing the same for himself here, as he has now officially earned even more points, jumping his way up to 99, but it's France on top, France on height here for Team ORC. Meanwhile, Braids, though, takes down Go.
Really nice clutch here from Braids, getting all that Siphon Scroll as well. No stranger to a solo clutch in these current situations, but look at the way that the zone is pulling all the way back up that hill. All these solos down on low, all these teams fighting it out, struggling as well whilst they do. And look at this, Sound all the way down on low. Braids is still in the game as well, keeping his team inside of that top 6. Huge moments right now, but look at the zone. It's so awkward. Can he make his way up? Braids is going to fall. Nosif will get the credit. There's the second elimination of the game, and they maintain this position. Might it be all they need? It is.
That's
so huge.
There's nothing this guy can do.
Nosif.
You can try your best to climb up and out. It doesn't matter. Nosif, Izzy will win that game and jump their way up the standings. Surely now putting themselves in the competition, in the conversation. That is how it's done. I think reality's setting in. They were smiling, but they're trying to settle themselves back down, not get overly excited here, but they surely have done something spectacular. They've gotten a nice little win.
Felt like the entire Paris got to their feet right there after they took height. And then there was that moment where 12 Zone pulls back over the hill. And it's the team that found themselves in an optimal position early on. It's the team that fought ahead. It's the team that put in that preparation in the end game to have a successful end of the team that comes out on top. And for Izzy and Nosif, this is the sort of confidence that we want to see from them. Remember, they did get a win in their group, but they didn't quite use it to their advantage. They couldn't continue that momentum as much as they needed to. So for Izzy and Nosif right now, as we get to take a look at how it all went down, everyone down on low is just completely just scrapping it out.
I mean, it was Izzy, Nosif, and the Mountain. They played so well together.
Ils peuvent pas monter. Go descendre, vas-y, go descendre. Lance. Vas-y.
You see, not much comms needed when you got the Mountain on your side there to back you up. But seriously, all jokes aside, they had the high ground. They took it at the right time. And I guess the better move was to play that upper natural elevation. It definitely ended up playing out well. We got to give credit to Braids, by the way.
Yeah.
2 eliminations there. He actually took down Scroll that was clutching there. We didn't see it on the feed, but he definitely popped off.
Absolutely popped off right there. And those solo clutches are really what can keep you inside of contention to qualify on through all the way into the finals. And just from a sort of viewing perspective, even from a neutral perspective, how good would it be to have both of our French duos in the finals tomorrow? Remember, Skyjump, Momsy were really good yesterday. Absolutely no shadow of a doubt that they would find themselves into that top 7 and, of course, into the finals. And for Izzy and Nosif, they're the fan favorites. We want to see him in those finals.
Yeah, we have to, you know. They're obviously setting themselves up for success here. They're putting themselves in a position to have the spotlight on them and really have a moment to make it to finals and then do something big, do something great.
Yeah. It's their time. I mean, with the fans on their side, with the way that they're playing, it's absolutely electric. But what I want to do is I want to hear from them right now. Zeke and Luti are standing by.
fans. EWC, make some noise! Oh my gosh, Izzy Nosef. I cannot believe you guys just got a victory royale. How does it feel in those moments to not only get a win, but then to hear this crowd go crazy?
Qu'est-ce que ça vous fait évidemment d'avoir gagné cette game, mais surtout d'entendre toute la foule qui devient complètement folle?
Franchement, ça fait plaisir, mais c'est pas fini.
I mean, it's really cool, but it is not over.
Franchement, ça nous remet un peu dans le classement, dans le haut du classement, et ça nous motive encore plus à continuer parce que voilà, je compte me qual et je compte vous rendre fiers, les gars. Donc let's go.
I want them to be proud of us. This game is really important for us because we're going up now on the standings and the rankings, so it's good, but not over us yet.
Obviously, that's right. It's not over. You still have to make it into the top 6 at the end of the competition for you to make it into the top 6. How will you feel coming into tomorrow's finals?
Justement, là, il va falloir que vous fassiez top 6. Qu'est-ce qui, à votre avis, qu'est-ce qu'il va falloir pour aller chercher ce top 6 et pour aller réussir à choper votre place pour demain pour la grande finale?
Qu'est-ce qui manque?
Franchement, juste de la constance et qu'on fasse le moins d'erreurs possible, qu'on continue de jouer comme on l'a joué sur cette game et puis normalement ça va le faire.
Consistency, the less mistake we can, and just play as we play on this game, and normally we will be able to do it for final tomorrow.
I love that. Obviously, dude, these guys are behind you. EWC is behind you. What do you have to say to these fans, and can you give them all the hype in the world because they want to hear it from you?
Qu'est-ce que vous voulez leur dire à tous ces gens qui sont derrière vous et tout le WC qui vous encourage actuellement sur cette scène?
Franchement, merci à vous. Hein. Ça donne de la force et merci.
It's given us so much strength, so really thank you to all of you cheering for us.
Can you just tell them right now, say make some noise for us, tell them right now.
Dis-leur, encourage-les et demande-leur de faire un peu plus de bruit encore.
Allez les gars, faites du bruit, faites du bruit, faites du bruit.
Thank you guys so much. Best of luck in the rest of your games, all right?
Bonne chance pour vos prochaines games, les gars. Une dernière fois, du bruit!
He can come in here and play my game. He knows nothing. Let's go!
Tyler 1, you're done.
Raw energy. Blow the house down.
Nosef and Easy making the French crowd very happy. Vivid, what are you doing? What's going? Oh.
Hey.
Come on, I had to.
Fanboy, you have to.
I had to, man. Listen, the crowd was getting hype. I was getting hype. Izzy and Nosef, there they are supporting, showing up for the French community, man. And they were so kind, by the way. Team Orchard were so kind to actually give me a jersey yesterday. They didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't ask for this today. I had this since yesterday. I got to rep them.
Did you get a jersey?
No, I think they ran out of my size, mate. I think.
Yeah, same. Me too.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Nosef, Izzy, absolutely incredible. And you know, in day one, we also saw some great plays out of them. I believe they actually got the victory royale in game number 3. So to see them do that actually once again, that is what we want to see. We knew that they had it in them in game number 1 or day number 1, but unfortunately falling by the wayside. Just a little bit of rough games going down to 19th and 20th place. But today has already looked leagues better than day 1 for them, and you can hear it in their own confidence that they're feeling so much better about the tournament.
Yeah, they're one of the teams I predicted to enter the top 6 today at the end of the 10 games. And of course, we've seen so many times this year between these two just how they've been able to face the adversity and overcome expectations. And, you know, we already saw it in Group A a bit, a sneak peek, and we saw it a lot yesterday in Group B. The effects this crowd can have on these French players, the backing that they get, the support that they get, it really seems to do something for them, and I think it's going to carry Izzy and Nosef through today.
You know what's funny, Lev, is that we are obviously in a very, very big venue here, right? We got a lot of games going on, and sometimes when we hear the crowd cheer, we're not necessarily sure if it's this game or that game, if it's Fortnite, who are they cheering for? But there was a couple times that game when we saw Izzy and Nosif up on the higher ground, and I heard the crowd cheer, and I was like, were they cheering for them? And then we showed them a gamble on the higher ground, and the cheers happened the exact same time, and I was like, wait a minute, this can't be a coincidence. And sure enough, it was the crowd every single time cheering for Nosif as Izzy anytime they were doing well. But also, we got to mention it, right? We kind of saw it on the leaderboard, how well some of our other teams did in some of those elimination categories. Super impressive.
Not just that, and for EC and Nosif, we got to give them props too, because the first 2 games, they ended up in 9th place, they ended up in 10th place. It's a great bounce back for that duo, and now they're putting in contention to be in the top 6 with only 7 games to go, and that's exactly what we're going to be keeping a close eye on, those top 6 duos that are going to be going towards the finals. Now, we're talking about AGL earlier on, and we got the perfect response out of that duo with the win.
Yeah, I mean, what better way to turn in a conversation about how well Sky and Scroll are doing than to give us a victory royale. But it's not just the victory royale, it's also that we are seeing them finally make it into the end game every single time. Before, there were some moments in the mid game where they went down early, and we just know how devastating that can be. So we still see a few solo clutches coming out of them, Vivid. Obviously, we would love to see them come into the end game with both players alive, but regardless, this is, again, leagues better than what we saw in the group stages.
Yeah, without a doubt. You want to talk about leagues better, Levin? I know you want to talk about them. You're probably itching to kind of talk about them. We saw when we got a quick little peek at that leaderboard, T1. Darm and Demish sitting pretty in first place right now. You kind of called on them. You wanted them to kind of have these good games. They've had good games.
Again, I think it's a reminder. The reality is, T1 are a team shouldn't really be playing today, right? You know, if you're going into the competition, most people weren't expecting them to be playing today. Same thing can be said for AJL. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing today. That's why I'm not getting too gassed. It's like, all right, man, yeah, like, you should have been here.
The Illin points, I mean, in that victory royale for AGL, they ended up with 7 eliminations. Are you happy with that one? Is that exactly what you were looking for, Levin?
You know what? The second the game ended, I said, it's not quite the double digits I was asking for. You know, I am I'll give them a bit of grace there because they do get the win, and they've looked a lot stronger today. But yeah, I'm expecting a bit more still.
If you're talking about strong teams, we have to talk about Yasin and Salvatore. I mean, they were doing well yesterday as well. It took a little bit for them to kind of lock on, but Vivid, they have been just performing every single end game. We are seeing them alive.
So one thing that kind of put them on my radar, at least yesterday, was how many eliminations Salva was able to go ahead and pick up. But as you can actually see up here towards the top 5 of the leaderboard, they've actually just been the most consistent team in the placement category. So kind of now switching strategies, perhaps. They've been the most consistent. The eliminations are a little bit lackluster when you do compare them to some of the other teams around them. But hey, second place right now.
Yeah, highlighting more of those teams. Khan and Faded. I got a lot of eyes on Khan and Faded. Yesterday was a crushing end for them. I think they went into that last game yesterday in a core spot and they just had dropped out, or at least in the back end of the tournament. They were really sort of in there. Again, a team who, when they qualified for RES finals, we all sort of looked at it and went, oh, okay, new kids on the block, what are they going to do? I actually didn't realize, but they're working with BloodX, right? So they're being coached by, an experienced coach, one of the best coaches in the world. I think so far, looking really strong today. Hopefully it continues.
Vivid, as we're looking at the second page of the overall ranking here, is there any team that's currently surprising you with their performance and being in the second page?
Let's take a look at it here. Actually, Oakley and Spooks, I mean, they were playing so well in their group stage. And, we kind of have this conversation about the survival stage where it's like, yeah, you kind of expect the survival stage to be just a little bit easier because technically you already have, 14 of the better teams that are already qualified to the finals. You're not necessarily competing against them. So with Oakley and Spooks doing well out of their group stage, I was like, oh, well, maybe the survival stage will be a little easier. We'll kind of see them play even better. And, we kind of saw some highlights so far from them from the day. But yeah, down there on the second page, a little bit surprising for me at least.
I'm region biased, so I'm excited to see Booga and Braids currently within that qualification spot sitting in 7th place. Obviously, they're going to want to make some changes because they want to get higher up in the leaderboard to make sure that they have that spot solidified for the top 6, actually, I should be saying.
One team that I was looking at on that second page, too, that we saw them a lot yesterday was Ioxy and Jojo Fish. I thought we were going to maybe get a little bit different here, but that's not being the case so far today.
Yeah, I was expecting a bit of a better day for them. Again, looking at that bottom 3, guys, I'm not going to lie, I'm getting a bit concerned. You're looking at Ioxy, Jojo Fish. I'm looking at Yapko Panzer, dead last 20th. I mean, oh my goodness. It was really upsetting for me yesterday when we would pan to Yapko and Panzer a lot. and it was just Panzer with his head down, like head in his hands. And it's like, you know, you have to come into today, reset, mentally prepared to face the lobby. It just feels like they just are completely out of it right now.
And the one thing, Vivid, we got to keep an eye on too, as you were mentioning GK there towards the bottom, the gap now to 6th place is almost 100 points. I know we've seen teams being able to get that in just one match, but it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's going to get tougher and tougher. These teams got to go ahead and clutch up. And this is why we love the environment that we are currently in here. Remember, these players kind of have the opportunity to take breaks after their games, you know, talk to whoever they want. You can see Sky and Scroll having a little bit of a conversation here as well. So for some of those teams that are towards the bottom, they got to do something very, very similar. Find some way to switch it up because your games are kind of running out, right? Yeah, you can have those 100+ point games, but you don't want to have to. And honestly, it might not even be possible to clutch up. It's top 6 today. It was a little bit more convenient in the past couple days where it was top 7, a little bit more easier for you to clutch up. Top 6 is going to be tougher.
And obviously that pressure as well, where if you're not going to make it into the top 7, well, hey, as long as if I make it into the top 17, I have another chance. But that obviously is no longer a chance that these players have. But what they do have is more games and in a completely different map. So for the teams that might not be doing so well in Elite Stronghold, they will definitely have plenty of opportunities in Slurp Rush.
There will one team that has been performing well, especially for those first 3 matches. Furia is one we've been keeping a close eye on, 11, and right now they are in contention as they are in 3rd place. They are within those top 6.
Doing what I thought they'd do today. I mean, when they were doing the grid walk and Zeke sort of went to chat to Gon, he did not look like a brother that was about to play in a survival day. Nothing about his demeanor screamed survival. It seemed like he was thriving, he was comfortable, he was ready for the day, and that has showed in their gameplay every single game.
I mean, the fact that they missed out on qualification just by 2 eliminations, you know that they were practically qualified. They were there, they had the chance to be able to do it. So for them to be at the top already, I think that they are going to easily make it in.
But I think we talked about it earlier on, right? The high spirits that Gon and Knight were actually in after they essentially failed to qualify for finals, right? When Zeke talked to them, they just seemed so happy, man. They were happy to be here. So still, that mental game, we got to constantly talk about it. These Fortnite players, man, some of them can stay in it throughout a competition. Gon and Knight are a duo that can.
I'm hoping they continue on that consistency too. It's a team that I personally, you know what, we're continuing with the bias. I would personally like to see them in the top 6. I would personally like to see them in match point finals. But now it's time we continue on here at Survival Stage with none other than Mini and Monster.
We would like to see them there as well, but the reality of the matter is, Monster, is that only 6 of our duos here will be making it through this survival stage. It is truly now or never. And we're getting towards the 1/3 point of all of these games. Remember, 10 games here today, going into match number 4 right now. Lots of expectations, lots of legacies on the line here as well. And we're going to see 14 of our teams exit the competition today. I think AGAL are going to be really happy with how Sky and Scroll come out of the gates here.
Yes, so far, definitely really good. And, you know, that first game, a little bit of a damper maybe on our expectations of them, but surely they did what they had to do there towards the end, which, again, absolutely commendable, because now they are back in the competition. Looking at the overall teams here who have now officially broken the top or just into the 100+ point threshold. It's going to be 9th place and above. Shadow and Virgo being the most upsetting slip down, but hey, Nosy and Izzy take 6 now. Solid, by the way, solid lead after that last Victory Royale, so we'll see how they can continue to perform. Well, here we have it. Match number 4 is now on the way. Those first 3 came by faster than I expected, and it only gets more and more active here game after game. Get ready for that graphic. It's gonna pop up quick. It was gonna be Retro who gets the first elimination to kick things off here. And then you have Z-Dog, Knight, and others still in the mix. Here's Retro. Retro, okay. Let's see more of that. This is that group stage A Retro we saw in game number 2 that took that win.
Uh-oh.
Gets rolled up on, though. Good finish.
Honestly, a lot of this sort of off-spawn fighting is all about getting that shotgun earlier on. Who's going to get it? Braids able to pick one up in this position as well. Nosif there does go down in this sort of area as well. Salvatore in the distance as well. Rue is there as well. Braids wants to get involved in this action, of course. Rue finding that first elim right there, his 2nd of the game so far, and finding another one.
Whoa.
Onto Braids. That was really nice, actually, just sort of putting it in reverse, waiting for Braids to drop on in, then hitting the shot whilst low HP. Pretty impressive stuff there.
Just gives you a glimpse of greatness there. You saw Booga kind of backed off that fight too. It's like, oh yeah, you do your thing, Braids, should be all right. Maybe it was a small mistake if they wanted to earn those points. Either way, Sky and Scroll will end up pulling up here. They find Nosif on the other side of the map. Nice little start for them as they secure their first 3 points. Take a look at the highlight from Rue. 9 shield, 3 HP, by the way. Takes down Salvatore, dances, and then demolishes Braids. Like, what was that?
What's so funny about that is if Braids takes him out there, we'd be saying, why is he emoting? What are you doing? Take it seriously. But he avoided that, because of course he was able to take down Braids as well. That was quite funny. I like it when players eat. I think they should do it more.
What, emote?
Oh, why not? Yeah, emote. Tell him what's up. You know?
Get rolled up on?
Yeah, I would.
A little bit of everything. Braids is actually getting chased right now. He's back to the POI here. Oh, he actually defends. Okay, I like that. He's playing defensively because Booga's under attack here. That could have been very, very bad for them, in fact. So he goes into hiding because Booga gets caught out by Salvatore and Yasin, and that person that was chasing Braids doubles back into the POI. It was Rue and Yasin, who, by the way, already showed Braids what time it was, so he wants nothing to do with that.
Salvatore and Yasin looking to find another one right here. They've cleaned up this entire area really well. Yep, there it is. There we go. Give Rue a taste of his own medicine right there. Another emote coming through, but Salvatore and Yasin, they've started the day really strongly here as well. This was probably the team that I had the most questions about in terms of they played well in the group. They didn't qualify through, but I felt like did just enough to still be considered as a top 6 team. I still wasn't quite sure, and they're coming out here really strong.
It's really interesting. It's like when they played well, they played so well. They were like, who is this duo?
Yeah.
And then when they fell short, I think it was just because they have been playing side by side, which is really interesting. They're not doing the whole like, hey, you hold this side, I'll take this side.
Yeah.
We'll kind of merge together and play endgame. No, they're playing together and dominating, and that's why we're kind of seeing that performance come through. It's a very unique take, I guess, on the game mode, right?
Yeah, and you don't, more often than not in Fortnite, you find a lot of success by not doing what the top teams are doing and what works best for you. Because what Peterbot and Poyo and Sharkantini do, it's very difficult to replicate because your name is not Shark, your name's not Peterbot. You can't just jump in box, you can't just carry a mammoth pistol and a shotgun. And it's very easy to get carried away when looking at some of those top teams and thinking, yeah, just do what they do, that's the only reason they find success. But you have to understand what type of team you are, and I think Salvatore and Yasin are a very good example of that as Oakley finds his first of the game. Spooks onto Cringe there as well, so it did look as though that Volker was able to get rebooted. And a big performance needed here for Yapko Panzer, who again find themselves at the wrong end of the leader.
Hey, well, look, last game, they were dead last. At least now they've gotten themselves a little bit of a lifeline here, earning some points finally, pushing themselves up and out of the complete bottom. Furia, Knight and Goat, already on the move here, 161 points. Things starting to shape up very well. Between first, second, and third, it's a pretty close race there at the top. Meanwhile, Sky and Scroll trying to fight their way up into that conversation. No Scroll at the moment as Sky's getting pushed in pretty aggressively here. This is a bad spot to be in. Scroll's got no shield. Sky goes down. Ooh.
Scroll needed a solo clutch right here just for a little bit. Goes back inside of that storm. Very weak, as you mentioned as well. So this is the sort of situation that they found themselves in, where I was really surprised about in that group, where they just kept going down early on. And then in game 2, we saw them not doing that. We saw them taking out a lot of players, getting a lot of eliminations, setting themselves up really good for that post-7th zone gameplay. And they found a lot of success. So big questions now for Sky and Scroll. You can see on the leaderboard, 5th place right now. Not by that much, so you know they do have to be very careful here. It's not done and dusted yet, and that's why some of the celebrations are quite muted, I guess you could say, particularly from the teams that are getting wins here.
Yeah, surely Booga looking like he's wearing the scars of the battles. Not too much here on the material count overall, so he's got a bit to catch up. Love that little shot there from the crowd. Izzy's shirt with the
Izzy
signatures
signature.
all around it. Yep, and he's got Izzy's, of course. He must be really happy about that. Have to have your favorite player's merch and your favorite player's signature, along with his duo on it.
Yeah.
Must feel good. That's why you gotta come to these.
Well, exactly. You get to meet the players, you get to meet lots of different impressive people in the scene. I always feel bad signing things when people ask me because I feel like I'm ruining it. You know, you got your Izzy shirt with your Izzy signature. You know, minimize signature. Basin and his teammate Anon, Salvatore, taking down Booga right here again, rolling on right here, Salvatore and Yassine. That's their 7th of the game. And like you mentioned, they're doing it together. So they're finding so much success in almost being the anti-strategy from a lot of our teams.
Yeah, and they're kind of pushing the coast here for this dead side rotate to get all these extra, I guess you see chest there and whatnot, and it's actually working really well. Booga just couldn't catch a break. But he's already loaded back in. He's getting back with Breeds back over at the Peerless Spear. Meanwhile, Jeffcon Panzer had 4 eliminations now here at the hostile hold. This is pretty far north from the safety of the new zone. So we're getting late into the game here, but it's PH Zin who's on a defending shot. Oh, someone needs the siphon here. Both sides got to be quick. Japco's going to opt the shield. PH Zin also just getting, again, chunked alive here. Tries to one away. What can we find? Is there anything that can give him some White's HP? Lucky for him, there's a med kit. Panzer and Japco end up getting with one another. He finds a med kit himself there.
Holy and Spooks down and out of this game.
First duo to fall again.
Again, it's been a day to forget for them so far. Thankfully for them, it's only the halfway point. They are about 60 points away from that top 6 currently. It's weird. Lots more expectation on them today, I suppose. You know, going into their group, not much at all. Maybe that's having a part to play.
Well, they're not too far off. The 60 points, they've definitely earned something. It could be much, much worse. You in that 30 range, but 60, you got a foot in the door.
And remember, everyone else is going to be gaining points right now, right? So by the end of this game, it could look more like 80, 90, which is looking even worse. But you're right. It's not down and out for them completely. A lot of teams are down on 30 points. Going to have to shift things up very massively.
Demis Storm here, tuning back in with our game or match 4-point leaders coming into this, but Salvatore and Yasin, after just going on a tear, have earned their fair share of the extra points now. Things are looking to kind of park down here at the moment. Plenty of teams in the storm here. Sky and Scroll just making their way out. 4 eliminations for them, another hot start. So long as they don't fall, it's gonna work out very well.
Yeah, they're just in a complete position of just peace right now. There's absolutely nobody in their area. Oh, really unfortunate zone pull actually for them in the end. Those guys were Sky and Scroll all the way to the east. Look at those 2 pink arrows. I was thinking, yeah, they're gonna put a nice zone pull right here. It's gonna be good positioning. They need to recoup some of those loot and heals and stuff from top tier training. And the zone pulls back towards the west, and even worse, back up a hill.
Algorithm's like, what? Peace? No, here's a mountain. Let's go over there. We get pulled towards the mountain now. Let's see it. Shadow Virgo, Yuma Coyote, some of the first to touch base. Darman Demish, you see, kind of base down. There's S8ULs, Khan and Faded. Very explosive duo right now. That was pretty dangerous of Khan. He had one hand off the keyboard, which is wild to think about.
Because they're confident. Actually in wood builds as well. You got the extra cover right there. Got a Knight. Team that's flying in a little bit later. You can see a lot of teams making these later rotations. It is a 2-tick right now. That's why they're having to stop, take a moment to breathe, pop one of these med kits before they do make their way into that dead side of zone. Really nice rotate. You can see on the bottom right of the screen, that mini-map. They do have a little bit of time until that zone does start to close, though, so you have to imagine they'll be getting onto that edge. Or does close completely, I should say. As looking like they can get in a really nice position. Yeah, they make their way into the zone, which is really important for them. And a team that really, I think we should have had higher expectations maybe than we did for these guys. Because the way they played was really good. If they qualify through today, they showed that they can play height, they can get wins. It's like, yeah, why not see these guys in finals? Why not give them a give them a shot.
Yeah, they were only 8 points off. Had they not fallen slightly early in that last game, couple more elims, you can argue, regardless of the clutch from some of the players we saw in that last game. Was it Fuku? It wouldn't have been enough.
Literally. Yeah,
that close.
And they had 2 wins as well. And 2 wins, and they still didn't qualify through. Consistency is important as well. Oh, Sky and Scroll. Who do they upset? The Fortnite gods. They've had another zone pull, absolute max. They really want to make it difficult for them. Booga. Reboots are disabled right now, so Braids will not be back in this game for the rest of it. Booga down to a solo. Dboy and Dharma, a team that haven't really been rocked all day. They've looked really solid. Looking a little bit weak on everything right now as well. Those white HP, having to use those splashes. Medkits being invested here as well. They're waiting for that zone to start pulling around. Unfortunately for them, they do have Yapko and Panzer that are looking to hold them down, but Panzer does get taken out by Gon, and they're going to close in on this position. They are. Look at this aggression here from the Brazilian duo. The Brazilian region, of course, as well.
Panzer slips out of there. He's still alive, technically. He falls to the low ground. He might actually end up getting saved. We'll see. Oh, Virgo finds him there. He had a moment. There was a chance. A little glimmer of hope, but Gon and Knight are firing off right now. They're looking really good. They are leading the rotates as well. This is all on top of the Chisel Cube. You can see the terrain getting really awkward there, so have to break through. Meanwhile, Sky and Scroll on the other side, just looking for the pixels in the sky.
Hit this? And oh my goodness.
He clips Cringe in slow motion. That was a filthy shot. You know, normally players render out that far.
Yeah.
He saw him.
I could barely see him. I had my eyes on the monitor there, trying to look at where the player even was, let alone
a little shooting star.
Managing to look like that. That was crazy.
Who's on height? Got Japan's Kawayota, Yuma. This is the game they need. This is the type of exciting play we need from this duo.
Yeah, they have that. I think they have that sort of confidence in themselves. They understand that they are a team that can perform on LAN. Haven't quite seen that level yet today. Just find themselves outside of that top 10. But they're in contention, putting themselves in a good spot here as well. Dboy and Dharma's managed to recover, and it's these mountainous zones that have been really difficult for those teams all the way down on low ground. That's why the position of Yuma and Coyote is of much importance. Gon and Knight also finding their second elimination, of course, just earlier on. And they're just looking to try and play a lot of these layers now down below. I think the zone does pull a little bit down as well, so as we saw earlier from Izzy and Nosif, the team that stay up, the team that think ahead, are going to be the ones that find the most success, but that's much easier said than done.
Yeah, definitely. But look, they already have 2 elims. They have plenty of material here. They still have a lot to work with. There goes the split from Knight, or to Knight from Bone. Booga is still alive right now, but there's still 19 duos up remaining. No material count. It was just a matter of time, and saw his reaction there. A look of pain just settles in. Scroll falls though. That's gonna be pretty rough. Demis just catches him off guard there. Now it's all up to Sky. We've seen this before here. It's an important moment right now too, not to drop the ball here.
Not even in placement points yet. Gon and Knight. Got plenty of material count as well, so they can keep their wits about them in this mid-ground. We've seen plenty of solo clutches from Scroll this week, and Sky now do the same. More than capable. Done so incredibly well across the course of this duo's career as well. Loadout looking good, materials looking okay, which is exactly what you need for these solo clutch situations. Sky, you've got your team on your back, AGAL fans watching on in order to get them to qualify on through right here. Just looking for an opportunity for a little pick. Looking towards the backside of zone. Has Gon and Knight looking very healthy inside of this mid-ground. Huge moments for them because, of course, with Sky and Scroll down to just a solo, Gon and Knight have an opportunity to continue to push themselves forward. Scroll gets caught out in his box. There's another team spraying on through as well. Height's looking as well. Another team take him out. That was Dboy. So Dboy and Dharma have taken out Sky and Scroll. You'd have to say their most immediate competition in terms of ability faded down as well as Gon gets his third to continue their propelling through the end game.
That's a surprise too. While all that was happening, so Coyote fall too. Somehow, high ground not exactly working for them, so they're going to concede to giving it up. Meanwhile, we still have Dharma in this game right now. 7 missiles in the rocket launcher. Bone ends up by himself here. Oh, look at that. Actually manages to save Knight potentially here. There's a team below him. It's a fight just breaking out. It's just Shadow there. Shadow's going to lose the battle. It's up against Mofo. Meanwhile, Darmandetish back in the game. Kind of gathered themselves here. Rockets are coming out. He's recognized, hey, I got to use this or it's going to go to waste and into the hands of someone else. Meanwhile, Jojo, Fishy, and Aoxy end up on high ground. This time, it's not in the last game of the evening. It's much earlier in the tournament.
Yeah, they're looking to start today as they finished yesterday. Dmish gets another elimination. That's their 6th of the game, using that RPG so well as well. The crowd are up to see Izzy finding one in the feed there as well. Aoxy and Jojo Fishy, no eliminations on them so far. They played this game very well, but you can see that reflected in their materials as well. Only 20 builds there on that team on height. Zone pulls back down towards the bottom as well, towards the POI. So for the teams on low ground, they're going to have to battle it on through. You can see Izzy and Nosif doing that right now, and Paris erupts. They get their 6th of the game. Low ground is theirs. They're continuing to plow on through. They're looking to keep that momentum going off the back of that win. Izzy and Nosif are here to play.
They have a feeling there's someone out there in the storm. It's actually Z-Dog, but look at this. Izzy plays a side angle, getting behind. Darm and Demis have dug a tunnel. And they're off, just trying to play for placement points right now. Not sure how well that's going to end up working out. We'll see. Aoxy and Jojo surely have the most dominant position here and now.
Uh-oh.
Oh, they split off in different directions, too. I don't think they even really knew what they wanted to do. Demish falls.
Domston in it. Domston leaning off there in the backside of the storm. So he's got a med kit. He's doing okay. Aoxy now having to drop down. The materials are dwindling. Nosif down to a solo as well. 6 eliminations on these guys. Get stuck on such an awkward position right there as well, and does end up falling to Jojo Fishy, but a huge game for the French.
Yeah, Darman Demish also out. So this is a 2v2. Ruin Moda. For Ruin Moda, this is a defining moment for them. Can they fight their way into top 6? Here and now, or at least get closer to it, but no, they try to go for the heal off. It's not going to be enough. In the end, Aoxy and Jojo Fishy managed to win another game here at the LAN event. And again, the seriousness on their face because they lost out on potential points. So I'm thinking Rumoda just denied them, considering, hey, maybe we can't exactly turn this around. It's not looking too great. And just like that, at least they're back in the tournament though, Mini.
Yeah, I mean, remember, Aoxy, Jojo Fishy, they had a good game, a good finish to the day yesterday, but unfortunately today has been an absolute disaster for them. They haven't even got a single placement point heading into this game. 16th was their best performance, and that's why the reaction very much lulled and not too excitable, because unfortunately for them, they haven't been able to have much to celebrate about throughout this entire week so far. You can see the points that they're on. Rue, of course, had no heals, so couldn't survive in the storm for much longer. 5 eliminations on him, though, so we'll be more than happy with that. But Jojo, Fishy, Aoxy, I think a lot of frustration you can sort of sense from those guys, because they know they're capable. They've picked up a win. They picked up a win in the group stage, arguably a harder lobby. They picked up a win here in the survival stage, but it's all the stuff before that. It's the position that they find themselves in where it doesn't mean as much as it could, as much as it should. If we had 3 good games at the beginning of the day, that win would have been cause for celebration, but the Sky and Scroll as well. Sky not able to solo clutch maybe as much as he would have wanted, so they're really keeping it interesting right here for the latter stage of this competition.
Yeah, most definitely. See Izzy, Nosif. Spirits are still up. Obi and Spooks there. We caught a little glimpse of them for a moment. Definitely need a little bit more work.
Definitely, but game number 4 was absolutely fantastic. It was electric, but we've got more coming up.
Hi guys, joined here up in the stands. Gonna be supporting Sky and Scroll. I'm joined with their mothers here. Thank you guys very, very much for taking the time. Real quick, we got the game going on, so I just want to go ahead and see how they're feeling. Listen, watching Scroll throughout the day today, unfortunately yesterday, kind of knocked down to this stage today. How do you think they're feeling?
The boys are ready. They were, of course, disappointed yesterday, but they are always prepared and ready for a new day.
Okay, and Scroll's mom, thank you very much. How has it been sitting up in the stands and watching Sky play on stage?
I think it's quite nice. I love to see them play, and support them all the time. So nice. Yeah.
Thank you. And listen, one more time, any words of encouragement for the guys? Hopefully they qualify through to tomorrow. And if they do, any words of encouragement for them?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Words of encouragement.
We just support them from here. We have all the support.
Perfect. There it is, guys. Yes, very, very supportive, and that helps the players a lot.
Tap it. Okay. You play medkit. Take your go down here. I'm no match, yeah. I'm gonna drop down, shit. Take all my gold, I'm dropping. Oh, shit, that's not good. Oh, did we get a kill?
How'd they die?
I don't know.
4 games down in the survival stage and only 6 left to go. That being said, me and Taco here to kind of talk about what's happening so far. And I feel like we're seeing a little bit of a runaway towards the top of the leaderboard. Those first and second places up there towards the top. I feel like first, we got to talk about it. Salva and Yassine just playing so consistently today.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting dynamic, but I think that the switch really started to flip for them in yesterday's competition. Right around that game 4 or 5 period, we started to see Salva just get so incredibly aggressive, and honestly, he's been fragging out and carrying a lot of that into today's competition. If they keep it up at this rate, Middle East might just have their representative for finals.
And I feel like that's got to be the conversation. I keep bringing it up personally, but Taco, these smaller regions, you are so used to going to LAN events where you're kind of watching these smaller regions perform in those finals, to kind of see so many already make it into the finals and see some playing super well here today. It's got to mean a lot for them.
Oh, obviously, and not only that, but also knowing that they're just one of the 2 teams still left over from the Middle East side of things, because we've seen what took place in the Group A stage and Group B. Unfortunately, there were some eliminations that costed things, but hey, they can still carry the torch.
Without a doubt. And now kind of like the opposite side of the conversation, right? A team that maybe necessarily expected to already be in those finals. I feel like everybody kind of supporting the EU region expected them to do so well in their group stage. It's got to be Darm and Dimash. That being said, they have picked it up immensely today.
Yeah, they have clearly been doing tons of VOD reviewing, like they can give pretty big credit for Sven and just their work ethic. But I've been really impressed by the way that they've come out super strong in the first half of today's competition. Hopefully they'll be able to carry over some of that into the secondary once we switch over to Slurp Rush.
And did you see that game, how they played that last game out, right? Kind of all the way down in the tunnel, just strictly playing for placement points. If they can play like that throughout the rest of the day, that's pretty much all they need. They have such a good placement towards the top of the leaderboard.
Right, and it's made it very clear that they have a great understanding of how to not only look for those strong elimination matches, I mean, cough, cough, 18 from yesterday, but now if they can continue locking in on the consistency for placement, they'll just remain right there at the top. They've already built up a nice cushion.
Yeah, would love to see Darm and Dimash continue to do well. Would love to see Salva and Yassine continue to do well. One more team, who would you like to see start to do well here in the survival stage?
You know, this might be a little bit of bias, but I got to see the Lion, dude. Bugha and Braids. I'm ready to see them start really picking up the pace here, and I know that all of these teams, though, 14 of them going to be sent home. It's heartbreaking, but they're all putting in their best effort.
All right, you talked about it. Listen, the survival stage. Let's go ahead and jump into the halfway point. Game number 5. Our casters are red.
That's right. This is it. I mean, we're hitting right into match 5, and then the players will have a moment to really evaluate their current situation and their stance in the tournament. Top 6 move on. The standings is all that matters. The other 14 will have their tournaments cut short and their keys crushed.
You don't want to be one of those teams. There's plenty of them. Percentages-wise, you're more likely to be one of those teams, but with how Darm and Dimash, Yassine, Salvador are playing today, they do not want to be in that position whatsoever. For the teams on this second page, Edson, PH Zin, Phoenix, Retro, Yapko, Panzer, Cringe, Volko all find themselves in the bottom half of this bottom half. They've really got to turn things up right now. And even though we're going to go to a new map after this game 5, we've seen how momentum can carry over different maps. We've seen how momentum from Peterbot and Poyo. Remember, they won. They didn't have a very good start at all. They won the last game on Elite Stronghold, then went ahead and won the first game on Slurp Rush. It doesn't completely disregard all of that momentum as well. So this is a really important moment for our teams, because this is really, truly where you get to decide and you get to determine what type of team you're going to be. Are you going to be a team that's fighting for the top 6 just outside? Are you going to be a team that's trying to hold on to first? Or are you going to be a team at the bottom of the leaderboard that need to just throw every single strategy book out of the window and try something completely new?
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing is that Sky and Skrull are in that dangerous territory right now where they don't have buffer room comparatively to Izzy, Nosif, and above. So being in 6th place, currently holding the threshold at 147. Their next jump up to get up and over Izzy and Nosif, they will have to best them by roughly 40 points. So there is quite a significant margin, a significant gap being kind of designed around 5th and above, in Sky and Skrull are just clinging on to 6 currently. We'll see what they can do. Can they get that big game? More desperation, I feel like, as the rounds go on and the players just go all out for the drop. This is how you want to do it, though. You can easily earn yourself a quick 20 points here. You are lucky. Brace is going to do just that, continuing to kind of solidify his way back into this conversation. Virgo's going to be one of the first to fall. Darm, Salvatore, and Tomat as well. Very, very nice job so far. Braids with a 3rd elimination. Just like that, Coyote finishes him as well. And then it's between him and Goofy here. Japan versus OCE. Coyote has already gotten 2. Gets the 3rd. That is what we want to see from our friend Coyote here. Very nice team for the Zeta boys.
Yeah, they need that too. 12th place right now going into this game. 96 points. Remember that threshold, Sky and Skrull, 147. That is a considerable amount, 51 points behind that top 6 right now. So those few eliminations are going to be really, really vital for them, just to keep them in contention, to keep the vibes high going into the latter half of the competition. Nosif down in the feed right there as well. Coyote just praising how well they were doing. Unfortunately getting stuck in a bit of a sandwich right now. Unfortunately going out as well to Tomat and Mofu, who I think the strategy here is just to try and roll on through the rest of the solos that find themselves battling it out at the beginning.
Nearly had that too, had both of them very, very weak for a second there. In the end, though, Tomat, Mofu will be the victors of the drop, the hot drop, if you will. Hostile Hold will probably be their next stop after they fully solidify their loadouts here. So, in any case, definitely appreciate it. Sky Skrull back on the hunt right now. 6th place as we see them again, 147 points now. Jumping on to Jojo Fishy, the action is real, and down he goes. A quick and swift elimination.
Pretty good there from Sky and Skrull. This is what we were talking about earlier. We want to see more of this early game aggression. We want to see more of these eliminations, because they are the best team in the lobby. On paper, they're the best team in the lobby. Why not prove it? Why not go into the early stage of these games together, fighting it? You can see their family there in the bottom of the screen. Some memes as well. But let's see more of this from Sky and Skrull. Let's see them put themselves in a winning position going into that 7th zone, because that's when they won the game.
I feel like that's what we're seeing out of Yuma and Coyote right now as well. This is a hero's effort from them to try to really confirm things here, right? Set a stamp on it at the Elite Stronghold. After this, we're going to retire this map. We're going to be moving on after the players get their kind of moment to recoup. Hari and Khaled. I mean, they've earned themselves some points. I feel like we haven't seen them once here on the show. Our focus has been so top-heavy, given the performances. Nosif and Izzy. Izzy's just getting farmed right now. Oh. Izzy at least did just spawn in. That could have been terrible for them. So, works out that at least Nosif, although he gets finished here, Izzy did just spawn in. Otherwise, they would have been fully eliminated.
Yeah. Shari as well. So they're a team that's inside of that top 10 right now. Look at this, though. Izzy. Awkward for Izzy. Down. Luckily, Nosif is still alive, so they won't have to worry too much about that situation. But as I say that, Nosif goes up in the sky, flying high, but going down. just the vibe in this arena. It was deafening. The silence from everybody. Everyone is in a state of shock right now. The team in 5th place, the team that everyone's looking at, the team that everyone's hyping up, go down in such awkward fashion. But great news for Sky and Scroll, who are closing on in. And they need to make up that difference, and that's going to help them out greatly.
Great news for the rest of the players roughly inside the top 10, honestly.
Yeah.
You need these consistent warriors at the top to start faltering. Otherwise, they're just going to run away with things. The gap's going to get too wide, but hey, Nosif and Izzy being down here really does start to open up the runway for everyone else. Japco Panzer still trying to find their way through, still trying to find their footing here in the tournament.
It's just tough. I mean, I thought this sort of format maybe would play into Japco Panzer's hands, the experience that they have. And just, yeah, this year overall really just been one to forget, unfortunately. So we get to see how Nosif there, of course, did go down. Just so unfortunate. And they've made this second half really interesting, at least. I can only imagine they won't find themselves in that top 6 by the end of this game, depending on, of course, how teams below them end up doing. But they're giving these fans something to watch. They're not running away with it and making things really easy for themselves. They're making it difficult. And as I said before, Izzy and Nosif, they're a team that clutch up in the final moments. They're a team that I wouldn't be surprised that need a win in the last game and get one. So it's like, yeah, it's an unfortunate situation for them, but they got to back that clutch ability, that clutch factor that they seem to have, and they're going to need it right now.
Other teams on the heels here, Virgo in Shadow being one of the more notable ones. SAUL's faded though in Khan are not the ones behind, but currently very much in the lead, holding 3rd place here and closing that gap fast. If they can pretty much close things out here onto Scroll and Sky. Scroll and Sky needed this more than ever, but Khan and Scroll or confirmed the Elim onto Scroll there with faded Skies just kind of waiting by here. Cannot afford to take the risk anymore. He's quite literally watching the action go down right there.
See what Sky can do. Scroll's back in the game. It's tough because I was hoping they would sort of roll through a few of these duos here early game. You can just see the nerves from the friends and family and the coaches just on display. Every single one of these games matter because the importance of this game has just been amplified. The fact that Izzy and Nosif are down and out. Yeah, every game is important, but this is really even more important because it's an opportunity as much as anything.
Yeah, big look of concern on the faces there of the parents, friends, coaches there in the crowd. You get that cheeky smile on Khan's face as kind of secured the drop for themselves. Choma, Mofu continuing to turn up right now after taking down Coyote there before. It's a fight for the Meta Machine right now. Legendary Fish as well. That's always an interesting pickup. Sometimes they'll go for it. Depends on who you are.
Please make the final elimination with that. I want to see it. I've got to try and come up with a line for if that happens, you know? A final blow.
Uh-oh. Braids very, very hurt. Bugha trying to play a little more defensively, but he's putting himself between Gone and Knight now. Peyton and Edson, these are 2 Brazilian duos. Right in between. Very much known for their aggression, though. These teams usually don't give up, and they might be giving a signal to Gone here. Get in there, go for it. We're pressuring from behind, go ahead.
What a horrible position to be stuck in for Bugha and Braids. You can see they've had to invest a lot of their materials here as well. They need to use some of these med kits. The actual position in zone is quite good. You know, they're in the zone. The zone's now, the storm is now moving. So they'll be more than happy with how they are. And the fact they were able to survive that is really important. But because they invested so many of those builds, they're not going to find too many eliminations right here. They're not going to find opportunities to go and refarm in this particular area. So you can sort of see them now just looking around. What's in the area? Where can we actually go? Where can we disengage and try and recoup some of these materials? Because that's going to be on the forefront of their mind right now, and you can just see them getting on the move right now there on the left side of the screen, looking to try and make a little refarm potential. Khan and Fader, we've seen them putting themselves in positions to win games today, just haven't been able to close it out. which is important not just for today, but also for the finals if they do make their way in. Remember, it's match point format in the finals, so 350 points. As soon as you get there, you need to then get a win in order to actually win the entire event. I believe there is still a match cap as well, though, right? 15 matches overall capped up.
Yeah. It's gonna be quite the day for sure. We've seen that players that can play at a pace that can actually break that match point format, though.
Yeah.
Cold was easily on track. Peterbot was. Sharkantini was. I mean, you can argue today, Temish and Darmar
sure.
definitely playing pretty hot. So anyone that kind of goes on a streak, stays consistent, you give or take around match 7 or 8, we'll start entering into match point conversation territory. That's going to be fun. That's never before seen, by the way. I think that's worth giving all the credit to the EWC team here. Obviously, experimenting, having fun. This entire product's been exceptional to watch kind of come together. Even this here today, the survival stage, one of its kind.
Yeah, I mean, even yesterday, can we have Jacob doing emotes on every broadcast we do?
I sent him the contract. I think he's already in. It's all good. It's getting taken care of. It's going to be awesome.
I want to see it. I'm not going to volunteer, personally.
Careful what you sign up for.
Oh, God.
Well, you wanted to watch, right? Here you go. Need you to do this one.
I don't know what I'll be doing for the last half of today.
Salvatore Yasin continuing that same look of determination here. Have full control of things here outside the Chisel Cubes. These vending machines tend to be hot spots for players, but no one kind of coming this way. Everyone jumping on, up, and over, getting more of the high ground positioning instead. Sky and Stroll included. The Storm weighing in on their HP, but overall, seems like they got enough just to bounce back into the tournament.
Yeah, they've found themselves in a nice position here. They've found themselves in a good state going into this endgame. 20 seconds to go until reboots are going to end. We have seen players going down at this point, which if you do go down and reboot before that timer ends, you can still get back into the game. So it's determined by when you actually get eliminated. And it doesn't look as though anyone is going to get eliminated. Such a horrible time to go down, so I think all the teams sort of know that. That's when we get probably the most peaceful stage of competition and stage of the game. So everyone's sort of in the same boat right there. Another difficult zone pull for Sky and Scroll. They're going to have one of these Crash Pad Juniors in order to try and make it a little bit easier. Sky leading the way right now. Scroll trying to ensure that nobody's following and shooting them in the back. I like the way they sort of stagger that rotation as well. No need to try and make your way all the way in. Fakan and Faded trying to forge a path their way through, trying to scout out, see what's ahead. They do have those overdrive grenades as well. Potentially even maybe a launch pad with how late they're leaving this. They might want to use one later on though, although they do have that favorable position inside of the Storm. Yeah, one singular overdrive grenade gets them pretty much into the zone. So nice opportunity for them, spotting out a few materials there as well, so maybe we'll tarp that way.
Yeah, I'm glancing around. I'm looking for Virgo and Shadow, just trying to see if we get a little bit of an update on their situation. Remember, they're also very, very close. Here it is, Virgo with 24 HP, a successful rotate only because they're alive, but it's going to cost them the remaining of their heals. This is their opportunity, one of the rare chances you have now to jump up and snatch away Nosip and Izzy's positioning here. I know the crowd might not want to hear that, but these are the types of chances you get very rarely in a tournament format like this. And same thing can be said for Khaled and Mhari, or Shari. You saw there, they're still alive.
Yeah.
They're at 134 here as well.
Maybe mixed emotions if Virgo goes and has a good game here, because remember, there's a lot of M8 fans actually in the audience, so it's like, yeah, Virgo, M8.
That's right.
Oh no,
That's
he knows him. Getting overtaken, so interesting to see what things are like for that. Sky and Scroll, of course, find themselves in this position. Gone and Knight looking to try and have yet another good endgame.
Oh, Shadow's down.
That's not ideal though for them.
We're going for Knight. This is their chance to break away for Virgo now. This is his chance to have to clutch here if he really wants to kind of remain competitive. Ooh, almost lands in a box with a player. It's always a scary situation to be in. This is going through a major POI. They could end up finding some leftover loot. Going on the other side. No elims earned just yet, so no points earned here is actually very, very much questionable. And this could really go either way. looking at things now.
Yeah, and kind of strange for them as well. We've seen them getting a lot of eliminations coming into the end game and then a lot of eliminations in the end game itself. So maybe they understand 4th place right now for them. They need to just find a little bit of consistency here. They probably looked in the feed as well. Nosif, Izzy down, so playing things a little bit more calmly. But as of right now, no points for them. Khan and Faded, 2 eliminations for them so far. Vazen is their target at the moment, spraying the pressure on through. Zone pulls back towards that north. Couple of teams on the low ground and have to try and make their way up. Retro and Phoenix looking to try and get another win, as we saw them get one in Group A. Holding down that position up on height. But as we've seen, it's not safe and sound as of yet. Dharma and Dimash looking to go on up. I don't think they'll go for height here, Dharma and Dimash. They're not the sort of team that have been doing that today. We did see it yesterday in Group B. Whether they'll want to do it again, considering their position, we'll have to wait and see. Booger and Braids, though, good opportunity for them as well. A couple of difficult positions ahead of them. Tomat down as well, just ahead of them as well. So really important that they do well. Sky and Scroll down where they belong on the low ground. And that's Virgo and Shadow completely out as well.
Yeah, they tried. No placement points earned there. A 0-point game for Virgo and Shadow. They get frozen in 7th. Booga Braids are ramping their way up right now inside the top 10 here currently. Gone and Knight trying to see what more they can do. Again, haven't quite really began earning points yet. So everyone, coincidentally, inside the top 5 really hasn't changed much. Not even Nosif and Izzy's position being contested just yet, but that's all going to change here as there are only 27 players remaining.
Look at this, though. Dharma and Dimash up on height. 0 eliminations so far, so very different to the way they got that 18 elimination win yesterday. No wins for them so far today as well, so they're still looking for that first win. They want to prove to us that they can take wins in these sort of formats. It's going to be really vital for tomorrow's finals. Scroll a bit wounded, down on low ground. No shield either. Sky looking to try and forge a path all the way through. Goes through a lot of these old builds as well through this major POI. Dharma and Dimash getting contested up on height. Khan and Faded are the team that are looking to take it. They've been playing height so much today. They're trying to make it their domain, but the materials are dwindling. Khan looking to try and ensure that they don't go down to 4 damage if they get chopped. Using that Flowberry Fizz. Booger and Braids now down as well, but Khan and Faded looking to have a little bit more success here on height than we've seen them
Big
today.
chance right now for Sky and Scroll. Those are some key eliminations. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th are down and out, so Sky and Scroll have a chance here to make a runway for themselves. That's going to be hard to catch up after this break. Coming up, hold on, give it a second. Khan and Faded still going for it. 4 elims now, high ground is theirs, and they're closing in on Dharma and Dimash's lead too. Dharma and Dimash, though, finally get themselves their first elimination here. That's onto Yasin, so no Salvatore in sight. Khan still pressuring from up top, plenty to work with other than the material counts. They went with such a late high ground take, but in the end, it ends up working out as they're inside the top 10. Scroll gets Salvatore finishing up that duo. No Mac picked up, though. It's all up to Sky. He's got a little bit of work with. Teams on his heels is Knight and Gone. Knight falls first. Very nicely done. They're going to need the refresh here. Another edit from up top. And then only in Spooks. 7 elims trying to play for a win here. This could put them closer inside the top 10. I mean, we said it, Vinny. Just one game can all of a sudden put you into conversation. Scrolls down, Sky still in, 6 elims here and going.
And Sky takes down Dimash right there as well. That's one of their immediate competition ahead of them. Spooks and Oatly, though, looking to put OCE on the map, and so is Z-Dog and Goofy. Spooks and Oatly, the only duo alive right now, though, as Sky tries to make his way into that zone. Spooks and Oatly trying to prove why to the other day was not a fluke. And they take the game. The rest of the lobby tumbles so quickly. The energy is there, the vibes are high, and going into Slurp Rush, they reignited the belief.
Love it, love it. Oatly, you can see the excitement on his face as he finally eases up and gets that land victory. He's got to come back down to earth. There he is, there he is. Okay, he's back. He's back.
He's like, yeah, hang on, no, we've got to stay cool here.
He's like, all right,
maintain the aura.
I'm still Goatly. Still Goatly. I got to get back to it.
That's good, though. I mean, I think it's important for them to prove to everyone that yesterday, the way that they performed was not a fluke. Going off the chain, the aura. Oh, so cold. Coldly, you can call it. Why not? Demon and Dom, though. What a performance from these guys.
That was a good one. Take a look at the highlights here. From Oatly's perspective, I mean, they made it look easy. They had that Nitro high ground. It was good. So your winner, Spooks and Oatly, Team Jogo, that was quite the win. And again, a very, very important win. Way to get a dub as you go into this like kind of next session where you get to sit back, kind of reevaluate things, prepare for the slurp rush. Like, this is the time to do it.
Yep.
Help kind of rejuvenate yourself, then come back ready and push for a strong back half of the tournament. They did so well yesterday.
Yep.
Just makes you wonder, a slightly better start, and they'd be very far ahead right now.
Well, it changes the context of that halftime break. These guys have got a little bit of time right now to maybe look at those VODs, to take a break, take a breather, have a sip to drink. And I think it just changes the context entirely to the point where it's now going into that break feeling confident, feeling good, happy about how things are going. But for a team like Izzy and Nosif, that's the complete other side of things. They're a team that didn't end the game right there particularly well. And that now changes how they look at things. Even Sky and Scroll, they'll still be expecting so much more from themselves. And it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to develop throughout the second half of the day as well, because they're not done and dusted either.
You know what? We also got to give shouts to Z-Dog and Goofy. I'm looking at the points
here.
They also, with that second place there, put some just possibly ahead. Again, we'll wait for the official score confirmations ahead of Oatly and Spooks, though, so which are now pressing on the heels of Izzy and Nosif, who had the biggest upset falling early there. So now really does become anyone's race all the way down to roughly 13th place.
Wow.
All teams from 6 to 13 for now in contention for Izzy and Nosif's spot.
It's all getting really close here. You know, the latter half of competition is going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be close. It's going to be hotly contested. That top 6 is where your eyes got to be set on. That's the amount of teams that are going to qualify on through. And for those finals tomorrow, you do not want your keys getting crushed, or else you will not get a spot in those finals. Remember, match point's going to be super important as well. All about how you can get wins, how you can perform on that stage under the pressure. And for the second half of today, the pressure is truly going to be on for our teams.
Yeah, you can see Shadow very much disappointed on how things kind of went that last game. He was so close, yet so far. For us to see that winner's banner there, what better than to hear from Barney with the voices themselves that won that game.
Spooks and Oatly managing to secure that ever so crucial victory royale before going into the second half of the day on the survival stage. Spooks, let's quickly chat. How vital were those points? What were the comms like going into the final moments of that map?
We were low on points going into that game. I just told Oatly, let's go for high, we'll win the game, and finish the first half off good.
Has that kind of boosted the confidence then going into the second half, managing to secure those points? Kind of lifts a bit of that pressure off, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Next half, we'll just qual.
I like it. Next half, speaking of that, it is, of course, Slurp Rush. Feeling a bit more confident on that map in particular, or is it just kind of more of the same?
It's more of the same. We're landing a new drop, but we should be good.
I love it. Short and sweet. Nice, nice moving. I like this. Right, Jogo, of course, that's Spooks, that's Oatly. Smashing it here on the main stage on the Gadia City grid. But of course, we've got 5 more maps to go until we close out the survival stage. So hopefully you boys can do it. We'll see you guys in the latter half of the day. But for now, let's go back to you guys.
everyone is playing, you're not yet. EWC Play is your all-in-one platform to compete in fantasy, pick'em, and quests for a grand total of $300,000 in prize pool. Build your dream fantasy team in 5 different games and track your score with live results tables. Predict the winner of every game, every group stage, and every tournament. Complete daily and weekly challenges to earn boosters that help you climb the global leaderboard. Got what it takes? Join EWC Play now.
What is going on, everybody? We have Darm and Dmish here representing SKTT1. Friends, I gotta ask you first, how are you feeling about the competition so far? No big deal, you guys are just going crazy, popping off.
I mean, it's definitely easier than yesterday. So, I mean, you can see even on the leaderboard, you know?
Yeah, well, the difference in like being good in this lobby is way lower than probably like yesterday. You know, we just got better. Yesterday was a disaster. We just like locked in today. You know.
It shows you guys are doing so well right now. I'd love to ask you guys about EWC and kind of the framing around that. Being picked up by T1, what an honor. I mean, look, you and Fakers, you guys are coworkers now. How does that feel?
I mean, it feels great. It's like one of the biggest, if not the biggest organization in the world, you know? So it really feels awesome.
Yeah, it's an honor to be in this org.
Yeah, it's so cool. Obviously, you know, to us, it feels like this is the real Darm and Dmish. You know, this is the true full steam ahead, non-stop Darm and Dmish. It's showing today. How do we make sure we kind of bring that into tomorrow? Because if you guys keep this up tomorrow, you guys are looking real good.
Yeah, I mean, it should have been like this always, you know? Like, the way we play today, we should play like this always. But I think we just woke up on the wrong side of the bed yesterday, you know? So...
Yeah, we just need to remember how are we playing today and make it happen again tomorrow. If you're gonna qual, of course, because there is still a chance.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is for some people they might think, okay, making it through the elimination stage is bad, but in some ways you guys get more reps. You guys had an opportunity to take and look at those mistakes, come today and say, hey, did we actually fix those? Looking at your performance, it does. So do you feel like maybe this is an opportunity to take this momentum into tomorrow?
Yeah, probably. I mean, we fix all the mistakes with the best coach in the world, you know? So, like...
Yeah, we were just gonna try our best.
We know what to do after the tournament.
Yeah, I love that. Obviously, you know, we've got some fans. I don't know if you guys have heard or not, but anything you'd love to say to not only those here, but those back home?
Nah, I love everyone. Every one of them, like, they just put up a smile on my face, you know?
I can thank all of them, and Polska Górom.
Polska Górom.
Thank you guys so much. Best of luck into the competition, rather. Let's send it back on over to see what else is going on right now.
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
This survival stage is starting to heat up here because there's no time for these teams to actually hide. It's time for them to shine. And I don't know where I've gotten myself into. There you go. I was able to find a way out of that one. But right now, 5 games down as I'm joined by 11 and none other than Vivid. And we have gotten some surprises. We're getting a lot of movement on that leaderboard as well, Vivid.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, are we getting a lot of movement on the leaderboard? I mean, our top team is pretty steadfast up there. Dharma and Dima is doing very, very well. We had the opportunity to kind of talk to them. Zeke did at least, and they were feeling pretty confident. They were like, yeah, today's just easier.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate that they acknowledge that, yeah, we probably should have played a lot better than we did yesterday. I mean, I feel like hopefully it gives them enough of a boost to exert this level of confidence tomorrow, if they can make tomorrow, which I think they will.
Yeah, talking about the overall, you were absolutely right. That T1 just currently sitting at the top, but I'm also thinking about those other duos that are in the top 6, like AGL, Sky, Scroll, right? We saw them being able to get that victory royale, but we haven't been able to see them be as dominant as a lot of people were expecting them to be.
Look, there's still question marks, right? They haven't answered all of our questions, but at the moment they sit there in that top 6, and that's what matters really for AGAL at this point in the competition. They just need to make sure they find their way into the final any which way.
Why don't we have a little bit of fun here, Lev, while we're looking at the overall rankings? Why don't we do that regional breakdown we did at the start of the show after game number 1? Now that we're halfway through, I'm seeing a lot more EU than was in there not too long ago.
Yeah, I mean, four out of those 6 duos EU. I mean, look, a lot of these teams were teams I didn't think we would be seeing on Survival Day anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, getting the job done thus far, still a lot of games to play.
I'm looking at Easy and Nosef too. We saw them get a victory royale, but the big question mark that some of you guys had was about the eliminations. I mean, the eliminations, if you compare it to what the other top teams are doing, they're just not quite there yet.
Yeah, definitely lacking in some of the categories here. Taking a look at the second page, I'm kind of looking for surprises. I feel like Yapko and Panzer have been pretty much not only like disappointing for themselves, but the community entirely, right? Anytime I see any social post about Yapko and Panzer, it's always about the emotions that they're showing up there on the stage.
No, 100%. I think another team I'd sort of look at is Yuma and Toyota, right? This tournament has provided us with a lot of these smaller region teams who have just come through and shown us, actually, hey, look, we can keep up with the best of the best around the world. Reload is going to help us do that. I was expecting the Zeta Division boys to really, you know, put on a better performance, a better showing for us in this competition. I think some of those Asian Peterbot comparisons might start to fade away over the next couple of days.
And something that's a little bit fun, Seven, shout out to the socials indeed, right? FN Competitive, probably Julia out there paying attention to the competition. She went ahead and mentioned that every single region has now won a game here at EWC Reload.
Ooh, you love seeing that.
Fun.
You absolutely love seeing that. Something that we've been talking about too is duos being able to make their first appearance out of LAN. Phoenix and Retro, definitely one of them, right? We saw them being able to do a good performance in one match during their group stages. I think I was expecting maybe a little bit more, kind of a follow-up here, but that's currently not the case as we saw them being there in that second page.
Yeah, I think I remember after their win specifically saying, guys, let's not get too excited, right?
You called it?
A win, no, early on, because I think this does happen, right? Especially at events like this one where a team comes through, wins an early game, and you're sort of thinking, ooh, is this going to be more of a thing? Unfortunately, in their case, it's not been yet.
Yeah, that's why we kept talking about it, me and Seven at least. You can't just rely on one singular game, right? Top 6 is going to be a lot more difficult. Uh-oh.
Oh, I thought I was about to get bumped again. Okay, I'm glad it's not me. I'm glad it's not me. Glitter, what have you been up to?
Thank you, Levin. I'm gonna take this off you. Sorry to interrupt, you know.
She really bumped you, actually.
You're comfortable, right? There's enough
She's
room.
strong.
I had to pop on over because we need to do a little bit of a CC update, okay? Things are moving and progressing at a very quick pace, and I need to keep you guys updated on what that means overall for us and for the rest of our clubs, okay? So we're gonna run through them all really quickly. First of all, Trackmania almost fully filled in their quarterfinals. Now, for most of the stages, that has meant top 8, not yet for Trackmania because they run in runs of 4, so they're going into their top 16. However, Neon, one of the only non-affiliated players in the tournament, they do 5 maps in a race, set a world record back to back to back to back to back.
Damn.
All at once in this one race. Still didn't win. Carl Jr. Falcons actually did, but that's how Insane Track Mania has been. Then when we move on over to Crossfire, Dboy Gaming, the one that I mentioned earlier at the top,
Big Fish
the team that took
UO6PT
Falcons
has
out of the
donated
Crossfire
20
competition,
Norwegian
took
kroner
AGL
and
out
says
of the
thank you for your
competition,
donation.
now through
Big
to
Fish
grand
UO6PT
finals.
has
We're gonna wait
donated
and see who they
20
face off
Norwegian
against, but
kroner and
last I
says
checked,
thank you
Liquid
for your
was actually
donation.
up 1-0, so they
Botrix
potentially
says,
could be facing off in the
thanks
grand
Big
finals, which
Fish
would be massive
UO6PT
for
for
Liquid.
the
And then
super
we head
chat.
on over to CS.
Botrix says,
CS
thanks Big Fish
currently has Falcons playing on
UO6PT for the
stage.
super
They
chat.
were down one map already, and we're down in the second map in the score. That is a very, very unexpected situation for Falcons in CS2, and that could mean that things might be a little bit more difficult for them as we continue to progress throughout the rest of this championship weekend.
So you're telling me there's a chance that Falcons might not win?
Which would be crazy, which means for us, we need AGAL to pop off, get through to finals, and then not just get top 8. I need them to be bare minimum top 4. A win would be ideal.
How they've been playing, I don't know if that's going to be a possibility, you know what I mean? They're my boys, but we got to call it out. They got to step things up. I mean, the opportunity is there. I'm also kind of like a Falcons fan in CS, so I'm actually a bit nervous. Now I want to rush over and watch that match, I'll be honest.
Let me see that pause real quick. Put your hand up.
I'm getting a bit nervous, to be honest, man. I mean, yeah, they got to really sort that out. Yeah, you wouldn't expect them to be down. I mean, okay, look, AGL, Falcons, it's a rivalry that obviously means a lot in the club championship. If it's going to be a rivalry in Fortnite, we're going to need Sky and Scroll to pick up the pace a bit here.
They're definitely going to pick up the pace, right, Vivid? Especially with what we saw the Falcons, especially what we saw out of Aurora when we saw Group A. I know we keep mentioning, but it was just such an insane performance out of that duo that it leads a lot to be desired, especially towards the finals. Are they going to follow that up? If they do, we might not end up getting all the 15 games that we have set it up to, but thank you, Glitter. I appreciate you giving us that club championship update. I'm pretty sure you're going to keep track of everything going on. And also, thank you for not bumping me up. I got a little bit of...
All right, I'm good. All right.
Let's just scoot back over. Let's see. Squished over there, man.
Yo, she went running, too. She took off. She knew that there was so much stuff going on there with the club championship.
I think she's going to go watch that CS game. I think that's where she's going.
I think so, too.
Anyone can get got on these couches, mate. You're going to be next. Don't worry.
Who's going to be able to push me? Jacob?
Well, this is my perfect time. This is my my favorite time. What are you saying, oh my gosh, for?
Listen, Seven's always got something cooking for us up here, and it's like always a surprise. So whenever he's like, I think it's like, oh gosh, what are we getting into?
I'm just saying, Lev got a chance to do his coach talk, which ended up working out back to back. Yesterday in the car ride with Vivid, I kept asking him, what's something that you really want to do? And he wants to be Professor Vivid because he's going to be breaking down some stuff that we have seen. And I hope you enjoyed that graphic because it took me all night to make it, Vivid.
Thank you.
Just kidding, I didn't do it. Somebody else did it.
So that car ride over, that talk that we had, I did this to myself.
Exactly. I was just getting some more stuff to see what you wanted to do, but I know you wanted to break some stuff down with the illustration.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, listen, we've been calling on Sky and Scroll a lot, so obviously they got a win earlier here today, and I wanted to kind of break that down and see what was really working for them. Obviously, it's good to kind of break down one of their games, but they are just so good. Why not take the opportunity to see really how good they are as a duo? So I wanted to kind of set the stage here for everybody at home. Listen, we've got Furia. They're up here on the higher ground. You got Gon and Knight. There they are. And if you come all the way down, you see Sky and Scroll down there on the low ground. That's pretty much what we were doing here in this game. We go ahead, start to play this one out. Unfortunately for Gon and Knight, though, you can see that their HP is a little bit low, but they do have the higher ground. No materials for them to work with. Gon, though, has this rocket launcher that he is using to kind of apply all the pressure, but this is going to play a big part in doing a lot of damage to one of the members here of Agal. And there it is right there. You can see how much damage, gosh, Sky actually takes from that RPG right there. So he's low HP. It kind of suppresses the pressure, or does it? As you can see in this one moment right here, you can see Scroll jump out over here from the side, right? He dips out into the storm, but a little bit to the left, you can see it. If you help me out over here, you can see Sky's over there. Remember, he's the one that actually got hit with all of that damage, but he still commits to the play here for AGAL. And as a result of that commitment,
Sky and Scroll from the low ground, man, absolutely wipe Furia off the map, and they kind of go on to win this game, of course, because you can see it. Khan's trying to stay alive off in the storm, but just an incredible win, an incredible commitment from the duo to make sure that the play comes out.
I mean, AGL are very lucky. Not only do they have an amazing coach, they got an amazing analyst as well. I mean, they got all the ingredients needed for success here today.
They do, and I'm glad we kind of brought up that play too, because you were even scared at the beginning of the day. You're like, oh man, are we gonna be getting that high ground just meta that everybody was doing? No, they were able to turn it around. Yeah. They were able to go from the low ground, go all the way up. But now I got something special for you. Okay, that's not the only clip you're gonna be getting a chance to tell us straight. You're gonna get a chance to tell us straight. You're gonna go from professor to unlicensed body language expert, because we got a chance to get some more clips from these players that we have seen certain things from.
Okay.
And whether it's smacking tables, whatever the case might be. All right. And what we can do here, Tomasz, pull up the illustration again. That way everybody can get a chance to see it as well.
You know what, Lev? Listen, I'm gonna scoot a little bit closer to you, right? Okay. And you can give me some input as well here.
Hold on. You know what? I think we can all. Let's just all get in here.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. All right. So I have no idea what's about to be seen, by the way. So this is going to be crazy. All right, we got Vic. Let's see what Vic's getting up to.
Ooh. Head in hands, usually not a good sign.
Head in hands.
This might also be prayer, right? This might also be a moment of calm, right? So let's keep.
Well, the thing. Wait. The thing is that he's got to watch out too, because he doesn't want to get don't get those glasses dirty.
Right.
He doesn't want to get those glasses dirty.
Okay. Well, also, we do have
you see the forehead
curls. The curls. He's kind of messing up the curls a little bit.
No, look, you gotta watch the thumbs here. You see the forehead massage going in right there. It's the relaxation, right? We've all been there in the spa or something where you just start to get in there on the forehead. Relaxation. No, this is actually good. I was worried for a second with the head down, but this is actually good. I like this.
You gotta get the makeup removal after the end of the day, because shout out to all the makeup artists. They gave us such a great massage at the end too.
Wait a minute. Are we about to get it? I see the fist is ready.
So this right here, right? So this right here, right?
Okay.
Classic, just, the body language is off here, right? Clear confusion, clear disbelief. You see the cheeks just a bit puffed out, right? Yeah, you can see that he's just not. Let's zoom in on that. Right? The cheek puff, not what you want to see here.
But the
instinct there of the fist, pulled up, ready to slam.
Just winding it up, too.
Here we go. Yeah. Let's see what actually happens. Yep. Yes. Oh.
You got to watch out, though, when you do that, because they are using their hands to play, too.
I got to see it one more time. Can I actually get it in slow-mo?
Give it in slow-mo.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm still zooming back.
No, wait. We got to go back. Nope, wait. And...
Yeah. Hey, Lev, I need a Lev rating on that death slam.
Well, I'll say that's like a good 6 out of 10.
What? Slam. I don't think add in the land factor. I'm giving it an 8. Oh, there we go. I mean, listen, we all love Vico. Emotion is always there for Vico.
If we just pause it right there, right? You see, you got the classic. I don't know the controls here.
What do you need?
What do you want?
Right, zoom in right there on the neck. You see the veins popping at the neck. This right here. This is a sign of passion. Yeah. This is a sign of elation. This is a sign of a man who would have done anything for that win. I like it. This is exactly what I need from Vico. Every event.
And right now, he's just calling everybody
a clown.
He's calling everybody a clown.
Everybody a clown. Those are the words. He just won. He was able to take it away.
Oh, gosh.
Unbelievable.
Shout out to Vico, man. Always showing emotion. Love it.
We gotta see it tonight. We gotta see it tonight.
Oh, it wasn't a death slam this time. Wait,
this one was a headset offer. You see, so this one right here, right?
I'll pause it for you.
This here, a bit of restraint, right? You see the natural instinct was, in my setup at home, headset off, slamming it down. A bit of restraint, respect that, but still not ideal.
Maturing a bit, right? Maturing a bit.
Maturing a bit. You know what's been a constant, though? The duo. Never emotion. No death slams, no headsets kind of almost flying up there. All right,
we got the last one coming up.
We got one more here.
Oh,
yeah, there.
Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Okay. When you compare that death slam,
let's go back. Because I want to actually pause here. Look at this. You see this? Okay. We got to zoom in, or we got to highlight. Okay. the point towards the monitor, right?
Yeah.
And then the facial expression. Who's he looking at?
He's looking at his teammate.
He's looking at his teammate. This has to be a clear sign of teammate blaming. Has to be.
I thought he was about to pull a summit and just punch the monitor.
No, I think you got it all wrong there.
You don't think it's teammate blaming?
I think this is like...
He's literally pointing, like, this is what you did wrong.
No. This is like a clear... I can't believe this is happening. Like, are you seeing this right now? Like, are you seeing it? That was like a clear... Yeah, no, that was like the most obvious, like, brother, are you seeing what I'm seeing right now? Like, that's what I was reading from that one, so...
Okay.
Oh, boys. Things are starting to get spicy. You say you're a Falcons fan, right? Falcons have just lost in Counter-Strike, ladies and gentlemen. So that club championship, it's wide open. I'm sorry, Levin. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but if you are an AGAL fan, this opens the door as well. They need to make sure they perform and they need to make sure they get into the finals. They need those points.
Listen, we saw it. We were taking a look at that leaderboard. They were only trailing, AGAL were only trailing by 300 points behind Falcons for that club championship. Yeah, that is a big blow.
I'm distraught. Honestly, I need to be consoled right now. Like I need a moment, guys. I try to keep things professional, but I think I need a moment.
I got you.
This is
yeah, you know what? While we comfort Levin here, Vivid and I, see what Varney's currently up to. I'm sorry, man. There's still a chance.
Warm green for the Falcons.
There's a different kind of tension in the air on the Gadia City grid today, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, like 14 teams gonna go home today, and I mean, there is more than 6 teams who can actually go. Like, the level is really, really high, Barney.
Yeah, you can kind of feel it over here. The teams are starting to lock in a little bit more. There's only 6 that are going to go through into the finals tomorrow. And of course, the teams to keep an eye on for those of you at home are the bubble teams. Now, those teams are from 6th all the way through to 9th because the point spread is pretty tight.
Yeah, indeed. And when you see, like, okay, they're only, like, they can actually make it. They have, like, one big loss right now. But I guess if you go really good games, you have one chance to just miss one like this. So hopefully they're gonna make it. And one insane other stuff is like the French crowd.
The French crowd, man. Just 5 maps remain and they will be on Slurp Rush. So we'll see which teams dominate on that map. But like you said, the French crowd has something to be said. So let's have a chat with them.
Yeah, it's time to hype them up. Mesdames et messieurs, vous êtes prêts? Quand je vais vous demander de faire du bruit, c'est toute la partie gauche qui va crier. Quand c'est Barney qui va demander toute la partie droite. Ma partie à moi, faites du bruit!
Over on the right-hand side of the stage, I'm gonna try to get this right as well. Faites du bruit!
Et maintenant, mesdames et messieurs, tous ensemble, faites du bruit!
Casters, over to you.
This is it. The break is over. And now we're here to the second half of the day where these last 5 games are going to be crucial. They're going to decide the future of 6 teams that will qualify to our match point finals tomorrow.
It is just so absurd, though, Jacob, to think about everything that we have witnessed up to this point and just knowing what types of stakes are involved. The pressure's got to be unfathomable.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a gap at the top of the leaderboard. Darm and D-Mish have a 36-point lead against the rest of the gap. Honestly, they don't even need to have any big pop-up moments anymore, but they need to have the points coming. As you continue to look down that leaderboard, though, this is where I start to get worried around 4th, 5th, and even 6th place. That's where it is a little bit closer. Khan and Faded, Sky and Scroll, Izzy and Nosif, because right on their heels, it's 2 teams, not just 1, 2 teams from OCE and Z-Dog, Goofy, Oatly, and Spooks, who just got that last victory royale.
But even if you factor in that that's where we think the bubble might be at, we've seen just how rapidly the conversation can shift once we've entered into the Slurp Rush section of the day. Elite Stronghold won't be a participant any longer. Retro Phoenix trying to get off, get a little bit of momentum, but it's Retro getting shut down. Just 1 HP about for Cringe, but Volko and Cringe, so far so good. Still got to contend with Spooks at the drop here for Crumpet. A little bit more active than what Cringe would have hoped for, but Anon doing a decent job at fending Cringe off. Spooks from a separate angle. They've got a lot of pressure application already, but Cringe might be getting the assist from elsewhere.
I'm not even sure how he's alive, just slow motion dodging around like a movie cutscene. He was unable to get any of those eliminations, so Siphon and HP is going to stay low. But what I noticed here at Forge Crumpet, aside from maybe one team, this is like a solo hot drop right out of the gates, and Dmish might be the last one standing here as he takes down Anon as well. There is still somebody else nearby. Dmish might be Darm, not sure, but he definitely has cleared out the path and got that first 2 eliminations for his team.
More so expecting this to kind of be a solo mission there out on the Bulls, but given how fantastic they've played those first 5 games, they feel like the only team that is truly locked currently. They just got to make sure that they don't tut out in the other 5. Obviously, you know, hopefully no Caster Jinx involved, but AGAL, Sky, Scroll, they've had all eyes on them since the very start, and it's only going to continue turning up the heat here with these two, especially after that Club Championship update from Glitter.
Yeah, and kind of taking a look back at yesterday for a moment, you know, they had such a struggle to get things going. They eventually did, but it was too little, too late when that moment came. This time around, it's a whole different story. Off to the races. Panzer and Yakko as well. They need some catching up to do here in the second half, but as you said, maybe some players, maybe some teams just prefer the Slurp Rush map, and that's why I was talking with Zeke. If it is one of your better maps, you just gotta hang on when it comes to Elite Stronghold, when it comes to the first half of the day, but this is where it all counts. They need a huge comeback if they're looking to continue their journey here at EWC.
Wouldn't be surprised to see teams just start tossing out the Hail Marys, because while 5 games might seem like a lot, and while we have seen some big point deficits cut pretty rapidly just based off of strong performances, replicating them is just so tough at this level of competition here. And Shari, Khaled, a little bit caught out, but still, Jojo Fishy's the main one on the run, doing a decent job at escaping the bulk of it. But Mshari, with the cutoff, won't allow the opportunity to slip by. Jojo Fishy has been eliminated. He'll be sent packing. Dirty Ducks now left to the control of Mshari and Khaled for the time being.
Yeah, even though he did go down, though, at least he bought his teammate Aoxy more than enough time to get back into the game. Just hopefully he can touch down afterwards. We know how difficult that can be at times. Going back on over in the distance, Shadow and Virgo, Sky and Scroll as well. Zone is starting to push them forward, but it is so early on in the game. They have all the time in the world, and you're kind of seeing what their strategy right now. Scroll taking a lot of those shockwaves, and it's going to be his teammate with the launch pads.
But look at that update just off the leaderboard alone. I know that we just witnessed Braids getting a nice elimination, his 3rd, but our 2nd place team leading on the leaderboard. Yasin and Salva already early eliminated. Placement points won't be a factor. This is a big opportunity now for everybody else to try and catch up. But for Dmish and Darm, business as usual. Goofy and Z-Dog, they want to hold their own. They want to stand tall up against Bull and Shadow even, starting to get a little bit involved here. And that's going to cause Dmish to come to a little bit of a pause here. You don't want to go with cool, reckless abandonment and get third party.
Yeah, especially since Virgo does have a teammate in Shadow that is going to be nearby. I think Z-Dog's teammate getting back to the game as well. So Slurpee looking a little bit crowded here in a moment. You see in the distance, Z-Dog getting tagged up. That was a freshly respawned player. Darm and Demas go on the attack. They get one. Goofy's trying to stay alive. 12 seconds is the name of the game. Luckily for him, they get distracted by Shadow and Virgo. And that's something that happens here in Reload. There's just so much commotion going down. Sometimes you lose track of your original target.
Hey, but those pivots, exactly what Goofy was hoping for. Even the slightest bit of pressure relief can go a long way here. But Darm, Demas, they have really been riled up by Shadow and Virgo's debut here. Darm, Demas, still going to be forced to kind of reconnect. Virgo also falling back, but he's just taking shots from so many different angles. Won't be able to escape. The pressure is overwhelming here as Dmish now collects. Darm even going to opt to head straight towards that slurp truck, but Shadow, he is just hoping that he can buy enough time, make sure that his duo is able to at least reboot back into this one.
Yeah, but Darm and Demas have a clue. They know he's somewhere. They don't know his exact spot, and they're going to get a lot of information because his duo is going to spawn right above towards the safe side of the zone. That's Virgo just trying to land stand 10 toes down, but he is immediately getting chased. And that's something we've seen throughout both of our group stage days. Once a team has you kind of isolated around the rest of the map, they get that initial elimination, and they chase, and they chase, and they chase to get Elim after Elim, and that's their 5th one of the game now.
And it's the worst of both worlds, right? Because for Shadow and Virgo, obviously they need an opportunity to stabilize in this match, but also they need an opportunity to play catch-up. But for Darm and Dmish, they're just further extending that lead and forcing the rest of the lobby to only think about that next 5 spots left up for grabs here. Still, pressure's packing in. Steamy Stacks, Knight, and Fury are gone, doing what they can for the Fury organization. They came so close in yesterday's competition, just barely missing out. But it was obvious that the potential was 1,000% there for the Brazilians.
Yeah, it's just that one was just so stacked, and overall just so close of a leaderboard. Last game really deciding so much. Mofu and Tamat in that first group stage, they narrowly dodged that bottom 3, getting a chance to play here today. Sky and Scroll continue early game aggression. Their 2nd one of the match, but this is how they found the first. Retro just gets caught slipping. The lurk from up above, they clean that one up, and that's what starts their momentum here in this game. Goofy, Z-Dog, though, on the other foot, are trying to gain some traction. They haven't gotten elimination yet, but that doesn't mean they're going to stop trying.
In a way, they're kind of picking back up where they'd originally left off against the likes of Darm and Dmish before they were distracted by the Shadow and Virgo fiasco. But Dmish and Darm, they've just done such a great job controlling everything that's been happening around Slurpy Swamp. And when you have such a central position on the map so heavily on lockdown, Dmish Darm are just going to continue posing problems for teams that would be hoping to just pick up any scattered leftovers for a recovery point.
Now, this could be a big opportunity, though, for Goofy Z-Dog. If they can pick up this elimination, the amount of loot they're going to be able to get is massive. Z-Dog, only 3 shots left. I want to hear him calm that over to Goofy. That way they can kind of put him in fighting capability. A couple misses, that's going to be it from Z-Dog. And you don't want to miss against Darm, Dmish, who've been floating around, Shadow and Virgo, who's been around. You can see Phoenix in the distance as well. And don't let it look too comfortable here. These guys are in the zone. 1 second, 1 damage per, and it's going to ramp up to 2 tick per here in the next zone as well.
Still, teams more than content, but from Darm and Dmish's position, all of this constant fighting, it's sort of left them in a bit of a pickle. They are going to need some refarm to be present, but Braids immediately 180. What looked so promising initially against the likes of Yuma and Koyota has now been turned on its head. Huga trying to do what he can to pick up the pieces, but he'll be forced to drop, forced to just go fully on the defensive. He doesn't want to get picked off every single match. They need to convert into late game placements if they realistically want to climb into that top 6 contention point. And Koyota and Yuma are in the exact same position, but now it's only Braids left to try and escape the line of sight.
Yeah, this is the worst possible time in the game to have things like this going down. 5th zone, yeah, you can reboot back in. You get a little bit of a pseudo loadout, but where are you going to drop? Especially when your teammate Booga is already in the zone, and they started this game around 23 points away from that first qualification spot that they need, so they got to figure out a way to kind of pick it up and pull it together, reunite as a team in the same box. There is still time to make that possible. Even see Oatley and Spooks making their way in, 5 eliminations, and I think the first time we saw them yesterday, that was kind of their proving ground, and I think they had such a great performance, all things considered, that they're coming in today with full confidence.
And we saw the confidence from Oatley in the visuals, okay? He's feeling ice cold on the day, and, well, he continues racking up eliminations with this duo Spooks. Things are gonna definitely start conveying pretty heavily in their favor. No Sifanizzi though. Moment that they come on screen, French fans already getting a bit excited here. And they still got their work cut out for them, being that cutoff point at the start of this match. Still trying to make sure that they have a very promising Game 6 here. Shari and Khaled though, actually got Oatley and Spooks on the run here a bit, and Oatley's actually going to fall. Can't actually withstand these picks from Storm on top of the pressure.
Casby worried for Spooks as well. He's trying to pop a med kit, and Char immediately pushes up, getting him to cancel it. So you should do more than enough to buy time. Oatley should get back into the game, but you can hear that sound clicking down. That is reboots turning off. So from here on out, if you do find yourself getting eliminated, you're really going to leave your teammate by themselves.
That was a tough blow there, though, for Virgo, watching him just re-engage against Dharma and Dimish. Those early scuffles still kind of trailing into this mid-endgame position, but Zone continues to pull over towards Boom and Base. Izzy, Nosif, a little bit more of an isolated position. Braids, Buga still looking to try and pick themselves back up after that initial hiccup against the likes of Yuma and Koyota. Definitely came at a much later point, and like you said, Jacob, definitely at a stage where you don't want those kinds of issues to occur, because now you have so many other factors to worry about. It's not just about getting the elimination points and being set behind on the placements, but how much material do you have to work with? What kind of loadout are you really able to rock at that point? And you're almost banking on just being able to pick up a refresh along the way, but we've seen how long it takes before these placement points even start.
For him to stay alive, but it's multiple teams joining in on the fun, leaving him with almost no answers, burning through all his materials. He does find a way out, but it's separated from Oatly up until now. He gets knocked trying to close the distance. Oatly has to decide, do I be the hero or do I try to stay alive and get some more points?
Zero forgiveness there from the lobby. That focus was just too brutal to contend with, and it's so devastating because Oatly and Spooks, they initially looked strong, initially looked promising, but Oatly's down to his final 2 builds. He is cooked right now, Jacob. Way too many healthy players alongside him, and Aoxy and Jojo Fishy aren't really in much better of a position. Jojo gonna take the leftover materials from Aoxy just in case he can't pull off the revive, but as it currently stands, the whole lobby's already looking their win.
Yeah, does look like they might be able to survive though. Holding the walls, getting the revive. Sky and Troll feeling a little bit of that pressure from underneath. Khaled and Shard doing a good job causing a little bit of distraction, but you got to be careful. Sky and Scroll looking like they're fighting back, and there goes the pressure relieving shot for one, but multiple teams, PHN and Edson from underneath, grab him straight down into the box and take down Sky.
Sky seems so prepared to drop. He seems so confident that he was going to be able to convert that into a steady knock elimination credit, but now instead, Izzy, Nosif trying to take up the forefront of that frontside position. We could see exactly where things went south for Aoxy, Jojo Fishy, and Oatly. All those teams that were just on the outskirts of the zone, the moment they try to make their way forward, immediately punished for it.
I'm trying to contain myself seeing some of those shots right now, but if I continue to see more, be careful out there, y'all, because this one is continuing to heat up, but you still have Dharma and Demas in this game. That is our first place team so far. Again, at a certain point in this entire day, if Dharma and Demas keep playing the way they will, it's going to be mathematically impossible for them not to qualify, which would leave one spot left underneath them that is unincapable of being taken over. Booga and Braids, though, they need a good game here. Sky and Scroll need to continue to hold on. And the Sky and Scroll, yesterday, they had a lot of troubles, but this is what kept them in the game, their solo prowess.
Yeah, but just look at that club championship leaderboard lighting up on the side of it, and knowing that Scroll needs to come up with yet another solo clutch position, because all of those placement points, they have to secure their spot in finals. He knows exactly what's at stake, not just for his position in this tournament, but for his organization as a whole inside of EWC.
Especially since he's in 5th place overall, top 6 qualifies, who may not be the line, but he's close enough to the line where he's starting to feel that pressure. Booga and Braids underneath where they need to be, waiting for that perfect moment. Zone reveals itself, trying to shockwave in the box, make it easy. It's gone up above. He has the bow, and he's just destroying everybody underneath. Scroll's gonna narrowly be able to escape that one by the hair on his chin, but we got exotics, we got mythics, we got everything we need on the high ground.
And we also just saw Izzy and Nosif getting eliminated. That means 6th place, now at the mercy of the results of this game. Gon and Knight, though, they are not letting up by any means. This steady pressure from overhead is just going to be so problematic. Teams are all getting crushed underneath this boombo, and not only that, but Scroll, he's actually managed to build up a little bit of a shield. I might have spoken a little bit too soon here, Jacob. Scroll's managed to conceal himself a little bit inside of the tree point, but Gon and Knight, they are just so stacked.
it's just unrelenting pressure. Another knock from up above. They're really giving nobody a chance to look up, and it's forcing everybody down below to meet each other just like this. Big shot from Virgo, but it's not going to be enough. Edson ends another big run here. They were the ones that initially took down Skrull as well.
Skrull, though, coming back into it. He's at least low enough and concealed inside of the bush. Out of sight, out of mind, that might be the mentality, but Darm, guess where he's headed? Straight to the high ground. Faded and Khan, they've worked their way up, but Darm, even as a solo, able to kind of present this facade that he's still got plenty life left in the tank here. But Skrull, big knock onto Z-Dog. That Siphon eventually going to start carrying over, helping him out potentially, but he needs it to come sooner rather than later. And Skrull finally starting to get that little bit of white HP online, but it's just too little too late.
Only a top 11 or even 12 performance in that one. Not necessarily where you want to finish, especially when you're in the running. Darm still by himself. He is literally running around, scrambling, trying to find the answer here. A little Cubby off towards the side, but uses his last materials to make sure it's safe. A new high ground team up above, Cringe and Vocal. 135 points and counting here, and they're in the best position with the rocket launcher from up above.
The double RPG fiasco too for these teams underneath, but Cringe tries to take a moment to heal. Gone gonna get a little chunk out of his HP for it. Gone now looking overhead, doesn't get the shots to connect onto Khan, instead forced to drop. Frontside low position though, not a bad spot to be in. Looking back with no materials, but Huga, the Lion, he's trying to roar, just needs to come up with one elimination. A little bit of material, picks it up off the ground even. The body Siphon materials, he's gonna have to fall back into the storm. And he found the exotic Slapberry Fish.
Did he get off in time? That's gonna be the big question, and I do think he did, but they spotted him out in the corner. First shot's gonna take down Shield. They go and try to dive back into the zone to take him out. Voco does, and they take high ground, and they take the game.
This was a huge moment too for Cringe and Volko. You see that little bit of relief, the mini celebration, but they know they still have quite the uphill battle before they are comfortably in position on that leaderboard for the top 6. But even one victory royale, starting off the second half in that manner, is enough to give a huge momentum swing potentially later on. But Booga, all things considered, that was a very strong clutch up out of him. They needed those placement points.
Yeah, Booga's just kind of keeping themselves going. He started that game 140 points. I said it was around 23 points away from Izzy and Osif on that leaderboard. So not only did we see
managing to pull off the victory royale here.
Yeah, going into that game, I believe they were around 17.
Try and hide things out because all the builds are just being imploded within seconds.
Yeah, it's gone in night. You're talking about with that Boombo on the high ground. We literally had Explosive on high ground. They lose it, and then a whole nother team with Explosive on the high ground. But Gone in Night, even though they did not win that game, they still performed well enough, making it deep into the game to kind of hold their position atop that leaderboard. May not be the #1 spot, but they definitely pulled themselves close.
And just like that, we got a glimpse into what to expect for more of the game still to come. So make sure you guys go ahead and grab yourself a little refreshment, and we'll be right back.
We book Esports World Cup up.
A lot of people are haunted by their past. I'm inspired by it.
They're not just playing for themselves, they're really playing for their entire family.
They have defeated their demons! They have crushed the curse!
It's starting to heat up here in Fortnite Reload Championship at EWC 26 Survival Day. Welcome back, everybody. My name is the 7WG, joined by Meanie, Kelly, and Vivid. Meanie, you told me you got a chance to talk to this duo that was able to win earlier in the day. What did they say?
Well, I saw you guys doing these like pep talks, right? It's all Levin doing a bit of a pep talk. Levin's coach section right there. I actually spoke to Cringe and Volko at the beginning of the day, and I said, "You guys are going to win a game today, right? You guys are guaranteed winning a game." And they said, "Yeah, absolutely." So can we get a mini pep talk? Why not? That's what we're about here.
Yeah. Off camera, we unfortunately got to miss that part, but as long as you got them into that Victory Royale stance, that is all they needed, because they were looking a little rough before that game. But to see them be able to come out on top, even with so much going on throughout the day, it might be a little late, but it might not be too late.
I gotta talk about Booga, right? Obviously, you saw Booga and Braves, a little bit of highlights there. Honestly, the biggest highlight of the game for me was Booga kind of clutching up a couple of extra points towards the end of that game, right? Dipping out into the storm, getting the heals required. And this is what we needed to see out of Booga and Braids. Actually, listen, if we're going to keep talking about these coach segments, right? Oh, Minnie had one, Levin had one, I had one. Taco was actually calling on Booga and Braids not too long ago to see kind of what they can do. And yeah, off the back foot of that performance, you got to imagine Booga and Braids got to be flying up the leaderboard. You got to be talking about flying up the leaderboard 7. I can't wait to see it, because Cringe and Volko, they were quite a ways down towards the bottom, and after a great performance there, I'm very, very interested to see where they're going to be standing.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of what we saw yesterday out of JoJo Fishy, except that they waited until the final match to be able to do it. Glad that that's not the case here. But so far, you actually got a chance to cast the first 5 games. What was surprising to you in those first 5 games? As we're looking at the overall ranking, actually, before you even answered that, we can see how close everything is. And we're going to be keeping a close eye on that 6th to 7th place, because there is a bit of a gap, Meanie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Vivi was just talking about it right there, how important that solo clutch right there from Booga truly was. Puts them in that 6th place spot by a decent chunk as well. Izzy and Nosif just falling off slightly, slipping on down that leaderboard. But to answer the question, my biggest surprise, I think, for me, is how good those OCE duos are doing. Z-Dog, Goofy, Oatly, and Spooks, you see them there in 9th and 10th place. I knew that they were going to come into this competition feeling a lot of confidence, because they did so well in the group stage. But truly, I didn't think they could keep it up in this survival stage. So they still put themselves in contention.
And I love that they're kind of bringing 2 different elements to the style. We have one that's going for the eliminations, that's Oatly and Spooks, and we saw that do that yesterday. And Z-Dog and Goofy are definitely going for the placement heavy, and that seems to be working out in their favor just a little bit more. It seems like a lot of these duos that aren't Darm and Deemish, Gone and Knight, are kind of going for more of the passive play style. And you can see just how many elimination points Darm and Deemish are able to gain right now. I don't think anyone's really fighting for first right now, but definitely that 6th place spot has plenty of teams well within contention.
Darm and Deemish are entering a territory in which they may not even be able to get knocked out of those top 6, right? If we were taking a look at the points there between 1st and 6th place, it was like 122 points. So a big lead for Darm and Deemish there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 2nd page. What do some of these teams have to do? I can tell you in 10th place, right, when we were talking about Oatly and Spooks,
I mean, the pressure's just going to start getting to these teams. I can't wait to see who is going to be shining, who's going to be in that top 6. But for now, let's see what's going to be happening in game number 7.
7, it's not just the players that the pressure is getting to. As a fan of Fortnite, it's getting to me as well.
My heart kind of can't take it, because we've seen all of these players so many times before, and just knowing that only 6 of them are going to actually be able to make it towards that final battle bus for tomorrow's competition, it's just kind of heartbreaking, because that means 14 of them are just out.
Yeah, and especially since you played all year to get to this stage. stage, 4 different qualifiers. And then I feel like it was history that, I think Vivid said it, that Fortnite Competitive tweeted it, that every region this team, or this weekend, got at least one victory royale. Somebody needs to fact check me. Is that the first time it's ever happened? History continues to be made in Fortnite, which is amazing.
But look at these players just dropping like flies over here at Steamy Stacks. Teamish is down. Darm still floating. He's headed straight towards their initial drop, but for Panzer, Huga, Braze, everyone else left in a bit of a scramble here. It's every man for himself just about. Phoenix and Retro also still trying to be involved in the party that's been breaking out, but Braze, there will be no escaping the doom of Steamy Stacks. Is now Panzer, Yapko seemingly like have a fire lit underneath them. They are trying to gauge whether or not it's going to be possible to actually take out Edson, but currently in a little bit of a safe position. That could change in just a moment. Oh, Panzer actually can get the turnaround. Yapko hopefully will be able to secure this elimination, but no, instead he's getting chased out, but an entirely different team. There will be no opportunities. In fact, Yapko, he just has to stay alive because Panzer, it's all about the reboot.
I think he did it. I think he's about enough time. Yep. Panzer is going to be back. And you can kind of see in the minimap, he's trying to decide where he's going to go, because just respawning is even half the battle, especially when so many teams are looking on over in your direction. But it does look like Retro is kind of holding down the fort towards Steamy Stacks. Edson's down below. Yapko's there as well. And it just seems like game after game is a solo hot drop right out of the gates. Best man surviving, get your team some points, and Retro knows that Edson is just a sliver of HP away from going down. His 5th elimination of the game, and a good 15-point start from a team that needs it.
Cue the Benny Hill theme music, though, because Edson's making him work for it. Retro nearly gets put into the dirt, but will fortunately be able to secure the elimination here. 5 in total, though. So this action that took place at Steamy Stacks, if Retro and Phoenix can walk away from it, surviving it, that's actually going to be a pretty big upswing towards their points.
Yep. See, though, Pietson backtracking over here. He's probably trying to lend a helping hand to Edson, who's just been running around with no shields, to be honest. Retro found him out. The game of hide and seek for at least that elimination is going to be over. His 5th one out of the gate, 6th one of the team. And this is what I've been wanting to see from some of the teams that need it. There's very few opportunities left, and why not just go ahead and throw everything out there, so that way, if it does come out that you do not get top 6, at least you go home with no regrets.
Hey, if you throw enough stuff at the wall, you never know what's going to stick. But for Piazin and Edson, not too sold on the fact that this was actually where they want to continue trying to hedge their bets, because Piazin, Edson, they are just going through the blender right now. Just so many bodies here at Steamy Stacks, and now it's all down to Edson to potentially create a little bit of space here, give them some time to actually recover. But Aoxy and Jojo Fishy, the early eliminations at Steamy Stacks, ultimately going to put a dagger in their game plan for this lobby. They've been fully eliminated.
Here we have Gone, part of the team of him and Knight in this one as well. They moved up to 2nd place in that game, so it surprises me just a little bit that they're willing to get their hands dirty this early on. Sky and Scroll trying to go after a chase. Virgo's stuck by himself. Don't see Shadow, but I see a shot that's going to hit. Unfortunately enough, the numbers game, Taco, just works too strongly against him.
That's a great execution there, too, by Sky and Scroll. The way that they just went for that full pincer. Virgo could only defend so many angles from the 2, so solid elimination sequence, and Sky, Scroll, now intending fully on just making sure that they continue to at least cool off into those endgame moments. They're already within that top 6 threshold. If they can make it to finals, that's going to be a huge benefit towards their mental, and so much relief, because we're talking about the club championship that's at stake and those points involved, but it's also just knowing how many teams don't want Sky and Scroll in the finals.
Yeah, I think teams just realize, you know, back-to-back major champions, almost winning the Summit, and just coming in here, these cannot let a team continue to dominate. You seen in Salvatore, they went down very, very early in that last game. They gave up their 2nd place spot, but they're still inside of the top 6 bubble, so they need to make sure that they don't have those same mistakes again, because that's going to put them on the back foot and may push them into desperation mode.
You can ensure that the part of the Middle East is certainly with these two right now, since they have had such a prosperous journey in today's competition, but survival phase is brutal for all parties involved. Darm will finally be eliminated here. Unfortunately for Edson and PXN, it's not like he really had too many goodies for them to take advantage of, but it at least helps to stem the bleeding a bit, and they will have an opportunity now to actually play things a bit more passive.
Yeah, that start over at Steamy Stacks looking a little scary. At one point, Edson literally running around into PXN coming in saving the day, but now that they have each other's back here, they went away from that mess up above, and slowly but surely progressing their game, just like you said. Not too many teams nearby this location, but as they got that one elimination, you saw the surviving duo immediately disengage towards the north, further and further away from where he's going to reboot into, but at least he's giving him a shot. Khan gets one down. Fade's going to follow up as well. Yuma's the one that they get the elimination on, and they're not necessarily in a hurry to leave the Slurpee Swamp just yet.
There's just so many heals available at Slurpee Swamp, so there's really no pressure to leave unless it starts to get a little bit too crowded. Then we know how rowdy the third party actually can get, but as long as you have the bulk of the control of the rooftops, hey, anything can happen here. But for Yapko, he can't afford to go down just yet. They've been on a tear already in this lobby, 5 eliminations in total, but they don't want to be doused out just yet. They've got to keep the flame alive here. They need to start having some big endgame moments for the placement points to ultimately factor into their scorecard. But for Darm and Dmish, they've got nothing to lose here, Jacob. Darm willing to contribute everything he has in store towards this engagement, because worst case scenario, Dmish off somewhere else, safe and sound. And not only that, Darm fully understanding other teams now starting to close in on his position. He doesn't even get the benefit of that aggression onto Yapko, but Anon and Meza might punish him for sticking around too long.
Yeah, they played that one perfect so far. Because Darm was so stalled out in that fight, they snuck up against, I believe it was him and Yapko for so long. They got Panzer out of the sky, they took down Yapko, and now they're working on Darm next. They're trying to keep themselves alive in this tournament. All it takes is one foot in front of the other. No large leaps, just small steps, one at a time. They do find that elimination onto Darm. That's their 8th one of the game, bringing them up to 24 points off straight eliminations alone.
But it's already obvious just how many more teams are willing to just go all out aggressive currently, because they know 3 elimination points apiece, that is going to be the ultimate catch-up factor. Some of these teams recognizing the fact we are too far away. Even if we're consistent with our placements, the odds of us just being able to bank on a huge conversion of points between one good endgame placement, a top 5, you know, somewhere around that 30 points and plus threshold, and double-digit eliminations, you're looking at anywhere between a 70-plus point upswing, and that just makes a big difference.
It definitely does, and that's exactly what they're trying to do here. 9 eliminations, 10 eliminations for Anon and Bazin. Enough is enough from these guys, and I think this is the quickest teams have been fully eliminated out of lobbies so far. We're down to the top 16. One more team falling, placement points will start to set in.
And this is what you would expect to